Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 136. Bit of a late start today, but we're back down in the basement to talk about another week of professional wrestling that we watch too much of. I'm your host, as always. My son, co-host, is over there, drinking a hot chocolate.
Looking at Buddy Murphy.
Looking at Buddy Murphy.
Elite 72 Chase.
Drinking a hot chocolate with both marshmallows and... How many...
Was with marshmallows and whipped cream.
How many inches of whipped cream would you say you put on there?
More than enough.
To the point where it was almost toppling off of there.
A little bit. It also came out weird. Like it was, I don't know, smoother than it. I don't know, it came out softer, I guess. Is the
Did
word
you shake
for
it?
No.
Sometimes you need to shake it. But anyways,
No, that's adding up.
we're a bit later than usual because your brother had 2 basketball games in the city. Lovely time frame of 9 a.m., which means we have to leave here at like
Before I wake up.
7:30-ish, which isn't terrible. Could be worse, obviously. Right. But then the next one's at 3 o'clock, so thanks for that. So now you're kind of like too far to drive home. You like drive home, be home for an hour, and then get up and go again.
Right, not really worth it.
So then you're trapped. I mean, we went for a team lunch, which was fine. The pickle barrel you missed out on.
Darn.
Yeah, but pickle barrel with 11, 12-year-old boys and
shucks.
a couple of their younger brothers.
Oh,
so just
damn it.
I shouldn't even tell you this. It's it's upsetting you, right? It's kind of cruel of me.
Now I'm gonna be upset the rest of the day, and I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. I'm not gonna be energized today.
And you didn't get to watch 2 basketball games too. I'm sorry. I'm a bad parent. This is what we're learning.
This is why I hate.
But anyways, they lost the first one. It was close.
Darn.
They won the second one by 2. I think it was.
Hooray.
Yeah. Your brother played well, as he always does. Lots of
Mm.
minutes, played in crunch time, that kind of thing.
If you say so.
I do say
the thing
so.
people say.
And your mother grabbed you a couple trinkets from Yorkdale. I got a little miniature Dundee.
With candy.
Which has candy in it. And then, what is it? Shroot Farms Beets.
Welcome beet.
That's awesome. So, candy and mints that are office themed, because we love the office, as he crunches it into his microphone for you. In case you doubt that we're truthful, right?
Just for authenticity, yeah.
So what else this week? Anything exciting? As we banter, as always, people, if you're listening and you're like, man, this banter, there's timestamps. You can skip right to the wrestling if you want.
Yeah, if our lives are so horribly just
amazing,
uninteresting, then
I thought of something I was going to ask you about, and now I can't remember what it was. So that's okay. Good banter.
You can chew on that while I talk, I guess.
Oh yeah, please do.
So my friend's birthday's in like beginning of May, so
this is funny because this is what I was going to bring up.
I thought so, right?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay, wait, do you remember now?
Either that's because we're on the same wavelength, or you got nothing interesting going on in life, and this was the only possibility.
This was the only thing that's happened to me this week.
Right.
So my friend's going to, his mom's getting him tickets for, we got Toronto Comic-Con, I think, mid-March.
Yep.
So, he invited me to go, so I'm going for a couple days, and then I think our other 2 friends are going too. So
awesome.
I'm saving up money until then, and I think one of the retailers there is the Canadian Wrestling Figures, which is like a
they were there
at
when
least
we
an
went.
online store on. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I do. They were there because we looked, and yeah, that was.
So they're there, and that's the site I'm looking at right now.
They're there.
Just for fun.
I like it. They're there,
and so that's fun because I like figures. If people didn't know that,
if you're new to the show,
if you're new
and you've
to
never
the
made
show,
it to the or never made it to the final segment, although it comes up.
If you've literally never watched the end or listened to the end of this ever, so yeah, I'm
collector
really
to say the least.
Hoping for that Seth Rollins. Anywho, so that's there. I think a lot of Funkos. One thing that it's called. It might be like I can't remember if it's a retailer like which is like the wrestling figures or they have exhibitors. I think.
Don't know that one.
Which I think is maybe like people coming in to sell stuff.
Yeah.
One of them's like Minifigure Madness, which would be Lego, so that's cool.
Yeah, we took you to Comic-Con. Do you remember how old you were? If you're 15 now, maybe 12, your brother's age? Maybe
12.
Pre-COVID?
11,
so that
12.
backs it up a little.
At oldest, I would have been 12.
Right.
Yeah, because I turned 13 when we started.
So because it's Toronto, right? It's a pretty big one, so you'll be right into that. And I'm sure it'll be more fun with your friends who are all comic fans than your family who are aware of it.
The person who plays the armor from Mando's there.
Cool.
Some people from The Flash. Hancock was telling me.
Cool.
The guy who plays Kraglin in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Andy Serkis, who was Alfred in the new Batman. He was Snoke in the sequels, the Star Wars sequels.
Right.
and he's also some character in Andor. Don't care, didn't finish it. And he's a villain from Black Panther 2.
Nice.
So, Black Panther 2 as in like in addition to Black Panther.
And you're going to go
Black
2
Panther
days?
2, he was already dead. Yeah, so I think we're staying in a hotel one.
Going to wear a costume or anything?
No.
You're not a
God,
costume kind of guy. No.
No, and I think Hudson and A will want to check out the anime, which is gross. I don't do that.
Well, you just support them, I guess, if it's there.
I don't do that.
I know. Or you can go do something else and meet them up.
Did you remember yet?
That was what I was going to ask you about.
You were just going to ask me about that?
Yeah, I was going to lead you to talk about that with my probing questions.
So I win.
So you just volunteered it, which is great. But yeah, not much else going on. The high school team I'm coaching has championship game on
Yeah, Mom
Monday.
was telling me that got moved.
It did because of the bus cancellations again. So you got another day off school. On Thursday, it was pretty brutal
Indeed.
up here. But yeah, we've gotten a last blast. I'm hoping last blast of winter. It's been crazy.
I feel like
Cold,
that kind of has
snow.
to be it, yeah.
I think so. I mean, you never know.
That's true.
But it feels like it is.
Mhm.
But anyways, I don't know. We're putting this out later than usual, so I guess we should get started talking about some actual wrestling stuff. So we'll do that now. First segment, you know what it is. It's going to be some news and rumors. All right, let's talk some ratings. Big week for one of the two shows. Care to guess that I track ratings on?
Definitely NXT.
Definitely NXT. Wrong. They were averaged this week 589,000 viewers, down 8%, and earned a 0.14 in the key demographic, down 6.7%. And the biggest decline, I didn't pick a random date today, or one that someone else picked. I went with something else. The biggest decline was with, which, would you say males or females if you had to guess?
Females.
Correct. And the age range? Pick a range.
Key demo? I don't know.
No, close. Yeah, close. 12 to 34, right? So that was down 75%, which matches the worst they've ever done in that category. I think it's interesting that they track it so closely and break it into all these little demos, right? To contrast that, AEW Dynamite averaged 1.028 million viewers. So up a pretty healthy 24.8% and earned a 0.35 in the demo, up just under 30%. So the largest, here we go, I got a date for you. The largest audience total for the show since, pick a month.
October 26th.
Oh my God, October 5th. You got the right month. That's pretty good. Of last year. And I remember I was doing this bit of research and getting my news, and I said to you, like, what was the big draw on that show, right? Like, what got at one point over 1 million? And then I kept reading, and it was basically makes sense that this was the first week that they weren't head-to-head with NBA, right? Because it was All-Star week,
Right.
so they don't have games until Thursday. So that makes sense, I guess, right? Because there has to be some people who are like, I'm watching NBA ahead of this sort of thing, and they didn't have that option. Anyways, what do you have? I only have, we didn't talk, usually we kind of talk our news stuff. I've got like 4.
So in an odd move, I guess kind of akin to the Eliminator tournament last year, or a few months ago, same difference. The Face of Revolution ladder match is on Dynamite opposed to Revolution, which it usually is.
Okay.
Care to guess who's in it? And it's gonna be next week, so we'll get that next week.
Sorry, what's the name of the match again?
The Sonic Ring match.
Oh, right. Tag teams, though, right?
No, they
Just
usually
people?
get the TNT title shot.
Oh.
It's the one that Wardlow won last year.
Care to guess who's in it? Hobbs.
Yeah.
Nice. Just because I want him to
Hold
be.
on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people, I think.
All right, I'll guess a few. Jungle Boy?
No. You got 1.
Ethan Page.
No.
Why?
I
But
don't know.
why, though?
He should be. Now that you mention it.
He should be. Any Dark Order?
No.
Any... Do I even remember which is who? Firm? Large William?
No. No Big Bill.
Lethal?
No.
All right, I should probably quit.
Okay,
what
so
do we got?
Hobbs is right.
Of course.
Ortiz.
Okay.
Or Ortiz if you're Jericho.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No. Kingston.
Right, that makes sense.
AR Fox.
Cool.
Guevara.
Not sure he deserves it, but whatever.
Makes sense.
Yes, that I should have guessed.
Speaking of deserving, Action Andretti.
I should have guessed Guevara, I feel like.
Speaking of deserving, there's some luchador guy who I didn't recognize. I
Who?
looked in the comments. I think his name's Commander.
Commander's awesome.
With a K. You know who that is?
Okay, I do, because I've watched him in GCW, and the next indie, sort of sidebar here for a second, the next indie thing we need to go to, apparently, I've heard really good things about Actually, Braden and Davey were talking about it. Demand Lucha.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it might have just happened, or else it's the next show, which I would really want to see, is Gringo Loco versus Commander.
Okay, so he's in that. I think
And
that's
they're
who that
both. You've seen Gringo Loco.
Maybe.
He's like a kind of chubby dude with a beard, but does like crazy stuff.
I probably have. I just don't remember.
And he has like cornrows, or used to.
I don't even know what that means.
Anyways, like the tight braids on his head.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways,
Sounds familiar.
yeah. So I do know Commander.
Okay, so he's
super
in that.
flippy.
And then the last one.
Yeah.
Me.
You're happy?
You'll be
Cole,
happy.
Adam Cole?
No.
I'll be happy?
Yeah. We'll both be happy.
Andrade?
No.
Roosh?
No.
I don't know.
Come on. It's really good. He's been doing stuff lately.
He's been doing stuff lately. Oh, my God, why? I know we've been super happy that someone's doing stuff lately. I already guessed Paige, so it's not him. I don't know who.
Takeshita.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So he's winning.
Takeshita has to win. Yeah,
Right?
that's what I'm thinking.
Obviously.
Then
Book
he
it.
could take the title. That just seems like the logical.
I feel like it.
Well, it's totally gonna be it.
Sorry, I missed that. I am happy about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what would I be as happy about? You're right.
Yeah.
Takeshita all the
I
way.
don't think anyone else can really win that because I don't know, Ortiz and Kingston, they don't really do much. Hobbs,
Kingston doesn't need belts.
right? And
to me.
Hobbs hasn't felt like a title threat since the triple threat.
No, I would love for him to have a good showing and build off.
Fox
that.
is a good showing kind of guy.
Fox is there for some crazy
Guevara
stuff.
already held the title 3 times, and I don't
Right.
need that again.
Stale.
Andretti's nah. Commander, I don't even know if he's been in AEW before,
or if he's contracted at all.
I don't think he is.
I don't either.
So it has to be Takeshita.
Awesome.
I know.
Great news.
That's sweet.
All right. According to Dave Meltzer, another guy we both actually really like from NXT is in Limbo. Who hasn't been on NXT for a long time that we like? That's supposedly going main
Grimes.
roster. Correct.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
that basically there are plans to have him on main roster, but they don't have a storyline for him yet, so they're waiting for something to happen. And like, I'm fine with them waiting, right? As long as they end up getting him something good. Because like, the problem with him being so committed to
They're
everything
gonna give him
is they can be like, give him something questionable or controversial because he'll just perform the crap out of it no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't feel like, what I mean is like they might feel comfortable taking a risk with him, and their risks are not generally good, right?
Mhm.
Like we're going to get him as scripts or something, you know what I mean? So I fine with them waiting as long as they give him something good because he's awesome in ring and like he will commit to whatever you give him. Your turn.
So apparently Omega is not out yet because the whole speculation is WWE thinks they can sign him. His
I
contract
thought I
was
saw
up
he
soon.
re-signed something recently.
Not exactly. They had added injury time to his contract.
Oh, like
so-
WWE does.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how I feel.
He was
about
out
that.
for a long time. I guess.
I know, but that's not his choice
I
or
know.
his fault or whatever. I don't know. I think it's weird sometimes.
It is weird, but that's the case here. So he's not out yet.
As a sports fan, and you as well, of course, like that doesn't happen in any other sport, right?
Mhm.
Anyways, so this one's super rumors, and I only put it in because he's FNS wrestling favorite. People are speculating the return of someone to AEW that we miss, that we've met, and I've talked to, and I always say he was a super nice guy. Stu Grayson, right?
Oh, really?
It's super speculation. I shouldn't even include it, but like after Dynamite, he tweeted, "Mox not letting go of the choke is a bitch move. You'll pay for that." So I imagine people are reading too much into it. You're happy. Because that guy, man, say what you will, like, outside of maybe Phoenix, like, he has the ability to make us go, what was that?
He does some
crazy
cool
stuff.
I don't know where too, especially because he doesn't get a lot of time.
But when he does, he uses it. So let's hope that is true. But I doubt it.
Cool.
But who knows? Sorry, go ahead. I have two more.
Teasing us. So they did the whole ratings reveal on 2K.
Right.
So
I saw Asuka's happy with hers, but I don't know what it was.
I saw Carmelo was like complaining about 79 for some reason.
Oh my god, I was gonna guess 79.
And then someone was
80.
And someone was like, you're rated too higher than Chad Gable. Stop talking.
Oh my god, that's gross. I would love to see
That's really funny.
Formula for this.
Yeah. Anyways, so want to guess how high Roman Reigns is?
96.
99.
Wow.
They actually gave him 99.
I mean, I don't
which
know
makes
what their
sense, but like,
I don't know what the math is,
I'm
but
gonna totally try to beat his ass then.
he is as dominant as you could possibly be. So
Additionally, Becky Lynch has now gotten the highest female rating in one of their games ever. Do you want to guess what that is?
97.
Close, 96.
I should have stuck with
Belair's just behind. What do you think she has?
94.
95.
Oh.
You suck.
Just behind.
Yeah.
I see. What do I have for you? So we'll talk about it on Dynamite a little bit, so I'm jumping ahead, but whatever. It's nothing I don't care about spoiling, or that I do care about spoiling. It's the list of AEW names, speaking of guessing names, who will be featured on the new All Access show on TBS.
Oh, yeah.
So we already know Adam Cole said he's one. Any other guesses? Think, I guess, couples for sure.
Okay. So he already mentioned Britt, too.
So Britt, that's one couple, sorry. So there's another couple. Cole and Britt.
Okay, let me think. Couples. I should.
Obnoxious couple.
Oh.
Yeah. You know.
Guevara and.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Then we've got a tag team we like. Who are also executives.
Oh, Bucks.
Correct.
Okay.
A women's wrestler we are not enjoying at all.
Soraya.
I didn't even have to give another hint. I was going to say she was on Dynamite this week.
That could have been Sky Blue. Then.
Guy just said doesn't need belts.
Kingston.
A big man, a young big man
who doesn't need belts.
No, just just a separate hint.
Okay, so this is the same person or a different person?
Different person. Kingston was right.
Big guy.
Young big guy. He is.
Not Takeshita,
he
right?
is being featured right now in a angle.
Morrissey.
No. Morrissey.
Wardlow.
Big Bill. Say it. Say Big Bill. Wardlow is correct.
Okay.
And they also said Tony Khan. So, not going to watch it, but sure.
No, I don't do that stuff.
No, I can't be bothered. Unless I hear it's absolutely amazing from sources I trust, I might check it out, but that is highly unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? I got one more.
My last one pertains to Jeffrey Hardy.
Of course. I think I saw his
DUI
sentencing,
case
right?
got resolved. 10-year driving ban.
And he pled no contest or something?
Yeah, that's what it was. $4,000 fine, and also got court costs $586. His vehicle has been fitted with an interlock device for 2 years, also impounded for 90 days.
Nice work, Jeffrey.
Yep. I saw he was almost gonna get prison time or something.
Well, I mean, how many times are you gonna let you do something that puts the general public at risk because you're clearly not getting the point, right? Okay, my last one. Speaking of guessing names, if you want, 20-man battle royal will be held for. Oh, and the winner of the match will challenge Gunther.
Oh yeah, the
IC,
house show thing.
Yeah, at MSG in March, early
I
March. So there are 20 people in here. If you want to guess a few for fun, go for it. I won't give you hints. You just
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is one.
Balor.
There's so many. Yes, Balor.
Adam Copeland, Edge.
Edge is. I don't see him. Nope, no Edge.
Madcap Moss.
He's too big actually for this. Madcap Moss is. Nope.
Ricochet.
Yes.
Sheamus.
Yes. A tag team.
McIntyre.
McIntyre is there as well.
Other Brawling Brutes people.
Nope. The rest is, who did you miss? Miz, Priest, Mysterio, Gargano, Omos, Loomis, Bronson Reed, Rick Boogs, obviously. Santos Escobar, Strowman, Corbin, Cross. Who's who of mid-card stuff. Mid-card, upper mid-card. I don't know. Could be all right, I guess. It's a battle royal. They're never that exciting.
Yeah, and it's a house show.
As we'll discuss.
That is, MSG house shows are where mid-card title reigns go to die, but that was always the U.S. title because I think Andrade won it once there, and then AJ Styles won it once there. So that's where the U.S. title goes to die. So theory best be watching out, you know?
Yep, I guess so. Okay, well, we're going to have to, because Elimination Chamber happened, so we're going to talk about that before we get into our regularly scheduled stuff. So I figure we should start out with it because it was the thing in the furthest past, right? So we'll do a very quick recap and our thoughts on last Saturday's, yes? Elimination Chamber. Yes. All right, so Elimination Chamber. I took a lot of notes, but I don't really want to go through them too much. So bear with me, everyone. I'm going to try and cherry pick my notes, so it might be We'll see if I'm capable of doing this or not. I'm pretty tired, but we'll try. So the show opens with the women's chamber match, right? Featuring Asuka, Liv Morgan, Natalya, Carmella, and Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross. It's not a SH there.
Not ASH either.
True, not anymore. So what do we have here that's interesting? At one point, I made a note that each woman's head fits through the holes in the cage because that seemed to be a thing they were doing, right? I think it was 2 or 3 people were
Isn't that
pushing
true for most people's heads?
someone's. Just like, why is that a thing we're repeatedly doing? So Rodriguez comes in at one point. These are notes I took because you laughed at this. She dominates both because I think she was the third one in, right? After Liv and Natalya. And then she hits a stinger splash in the corner that was really weak.
Oh, yeah.
And you laughed. I think
because they were saying like big splash or something. I was like, no.
Right. I did like when she put Natty up on her shoulders. That's Rodriguez, and sort of backed her into the cage repeatedly. That looked okay. There was another one where Natty with a quote unquote interesting counter. Remember, we rewound and we're like,
oh, it was the most confusing thing ever.
I still
it was
don't
so
know
bad.
what was happening.
Oh, it was not good.
Because Natty was running the ropes, and then whoever it was lying on the ground, and it was some sort of
Morgan.
leg. It was, I don't know. We watched it multiple times and had no idea what it was. And we have like 50 years of watching wrestling between us, right? Didn't go well. Anything good here? Liv gets monkey flipped into a pod at one point by Nikki, and then Nikki climbs the chamber, gets on top of Carmella's pod, right, and does a high cross onto the other 3. And actually, I thought the slow motion replay of that looked pretty good. Carmella tries to hide from Nikki in a pod, and Rodriguez picks up Nikki, runs her through the pod as well, and then she pins Nikki based on that. We got, I don't know, I'm going to probably just skip down to the end here. We get, I thought Asuka, when she came in, looked awesome because she just starts going nuts, right, and kicking and whatever she does. I thought she brought some energy to this. Somewhere near the end here, we got a funny sort of Carmella chop block to Rodriguez. Remember, as Rodriguez is holding Asuka in like a power slam grip,
good. That's
and it looked like she just the most gentle chop block ever. But then a series of kicks to Rodriguez, and she gets eliminated. There's a super kick near fall to Asuka, and it's Carmella and Asuka, right, are the final 2. Asuka gets an armbar for the win pretty quickly after it's just the 2 of them. It was about like I think just under 20-minute Elimination Chamber, which I kind of appreciated. It didn't feel...
Well,
like
yeah,
it didn't
especially
drag.
with, it's not like you have an A-list group of people.
No,
either.
and we all knew who was winning.
Right.
Right? We both picked that, right? If you want to consult our picks. We always forget this.
Okay.
But, I would say this was good, but not great, right? Like, it kept my interest.
Yeah, we both picked Asuka.
I watched it. I don't think it was awesome or anything.
I watched it.
And I did not like the decision to have Asuka entering last, right? She's the star of this. She's a workhorse.
I think that's
you could put her in
if you
anytime.
want to have her kill everybody, though. Like,
that's true.
Because I remember someone talking about the Baszler chamber from 2020.
Yes.
And how they made the mistake of her starting it off and just picking them off one by one as they come in. Like, she should have come in last and, just dominate everyone. So it's okay from that perspective, I think.
Yeah. Regardless, there was some decent action throughout this, and a couple memorable spots, but a couple clumsy spots too.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't sound that great, but I'm like, it kept my interest, right?
It was solid.
Yeah.
Aside from a few blemishes.
Right. I thought Asuka looked good.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Like, I'll be hard on Carmella sometimes. She's not terrible. And I think in her role as like the sneaky, opportunistic heel that makes it to the end against the favorite. I think it's at least
a little better. She's returned to the fabulous kind of
I
thing.
Agree.
It
suits her, right?
The whole like, what was it? Too hot for wrestling or something?
Yeah.
That was kind of dumb. Like, I think I never hated her title run. Obviously, it wasn't amazing, but I thought it was solid. Like from like her cash in and like the character work was okay.
I think so. I think she was like the heel who is just whatever shortcut or if she could avoid stuff just to make it to the end, right? I thought she did a good job in that role. So I thought it was a pretty good match between the 6 of them. Then we got Lashley Lesnar, right? Which was basically everybody hitting their signatures and finishers from the get-go. And how long was this? Like 5 minutes? There's F5s, there's spears, there's all kinds of stuff, right? And then Lashley gets the Hurt Lock applied, and Brock cannot escape it, right? So he ends up doing the Ric Flair mule kick. The ref actually sees it, which is shocking, and so Brock gets DQ'd after like 4 minutes, right? So then after the match, obviously Brock goes bananas, F5's the ref, and Lashley, the crowd is now roaring and asking for more at this point. They still respond really well to this. Brock clears the announce table, F5's Lashley through the table, and then grabs the ref again and F5's him onto like the rubble of the table and stuff, right? So obviously, like,
Who did I think you got? Wait, no, wait.
what do we do? I
Okay,
don't
so,
remember. I'm gonna trust you.
Oh, you win,
Yeah.
but on a technicality.
Don't care.
Okay.
Win.
Okay.
I'll take it. Yeah, this match wasn't really anything, right? It was 4 minutes of them hitting their big offense, and then they each kicked out of the other's finishing move once or more, whatever it was. And I guess Lashley, the idea is he looks strong, right? Because Lesnar couldn't escape his hold and had to resort to cheating. But didn't it feel kind of like Brock was like, yeah, I'll give you 4 minutes and I'm not losing clean to this guy, right? And they're like, okay, then this is the best we could
I
do.
was gonna say he already did, but come to think of it, the first time they faced off, Lesnar lost, but that was because of Roman.
Right. So it's kind of felt like I'm not taking a pinfall or submission, but you can have me for 5 minutes. And this is what they worked out. So I
know Lesnar matches tend to be short, but I know sometimes he puts out good ones.
He does.
So
this is kind of the formula, though, right? He immediately
I
suplexes you a
agree.
million
This
times.
definitely feels like the Lesnar that can't really be bothered to do a lot because Lesnar's really, I don't know, finicky, I guess.
He is. His mood, it depends, right?
Right, yeah, the match really depends on which Lesnar you're getting.
Yes.
Which I've always heard that's the case, so I think this is not the prime example.
In terms of memorable,
yeah.
For me, the match where he destroyed Cena. Remember, I don't know when that was.
SummerSlam 14.
And he just destroyed him, like squashed an extended squash, basically.
Mhm.
That was super memorable to me.
The example I always hear brought up for Lesnar when it's like he couldn't be bothered was and I remember it because that was my first Mania, was the no holds barred match with Ambrose at Mania. Like he just turned up not really wanting to do much, not make the other guy look good. Bothered.
Yeah,
and they didn't really get to do a whole lot.
Yep.
So that's the example I always hear brought up when it comes to Lesnar not really wanting to do a whole lot.
Yeah. So yeah, this match, there's not much to say, right? It was a 4-minute.
Maybe he can't lose clean in his home country. Oh wait, he's not from Canada.
No, we got him now.
He just lives in Canada.
Yeah, it was just a 4-minute high offense.
Yeah, not really a lot to. I guess technically Lashley's gonna face Wyatt now, so
weird. Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
Oh yeah, Lesnar's facing Omos. What?
That's crazy. I'll get a drink.
That still doesn't make sense.
That's a washroom break. Then we get Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor taking on Edge and Beth Phoenix. So I don't know what I want to say about this. Basically, the men start out, the women come in, and it's kind of this idea that each of them is a powerhouse, right? So it's really hard for anyone to get an advantage, including like Stereo, where they clothesline each other. And then there's some sloppiness, and Rhea starts talking to Dom on the apron. Dom ends up getting involved, right? He knocks Beth from the top at one point, and Edge ends up chasing him away. And the crowd is just all over Dominic Mysterio. This is Montreal, right? So they are, not that matters, I'm just clarifying. They were a hot crowd, and they're doing what they're supposed to, and they're all over Dom for this. I don't know what was interesting. There was a superplex by Beth. We got, Dom introduces Brass Knuckles, right? Rhea then headbutts Beth Phoenix, uses the Brass Knuckles on Edge, and puts Balor on top as the ref turns around, right? Oh yeah, remember this? Edge doesn't really kick out, and Beth doesn't really break the pin, but the match continues. We watched that again too. Remember the ref on the 3 count? Instead of hitting the mat, all of a sudden his hand takes his
false.
Like there was a 3 count there, but the ref just. So I don't like when they say like, oh, they're trained to just count the 3, and if they have to right around, no, they're not, man. They know, like he's probably getting in trouble if he counts that pinfall right there.
Oh, for sure.
So it was pretty clear mistake there. I don't know what was the finish here. We get Beth escapes his chair shot narrowly on the steps and hits a glam slam to Ripley on the floor. So that allows Ripley to kind of be out of the picture and not take the pinfall here. We get an execution to Balor and then a dive onto Dominic outside. Spear by Edge to Balor, and then, what was the finish in this? Do you remember?
Shatter Machine.
Correct. Shatter Machine, which I think Dax commented he almost brought a tear to his eye to hear that, because that's a name they chose, right, to be on the show. And it was something about did Edge train with them when he was coming back from injury or something?
Like that.
There's some
Didn't
sort of...
he mention them a long time ago? I remember
Yes.
randomly. I think it was in 2020.
So there's some sort of course, all the speculation is their contract's almost up, they're coming to WWE, but it seems more like just an homage to
I saw someone speculating
people.
he's the one leaving.
Dax?
No, Edge.
Oh, Edge is leaving.
Which is
Interesting.
odd.
But so I thought...
We both picked it wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I thought so. In terms of this match, I thought the second half was a lot better than the first. The women got most of the first part, and I thought it was just okay between them because they were trying so hard to do this, like, no one can get an advantage on anyone's stuff. The second half was a lot faster, and yeah, Dominic constantly getting involved, which somehow doesn't bother me because it fits his character really well. That's what he should be doing, right? The pinfall that wasn't, and there was a bit of sloppiness involving the women, I thought hurt it a little. But I thought it was a decent match. Finn obviously had to take the pin, right? Because Ripley's in the midst of a big push, and that makes sense. So I don't know. It was fine.
Okay,
it was fine, in the words of us.
Yeah, but I never really vibe with the mixed tags because
they won't allow. It's just you have to tag out. Yeah, just having to switch when the other team tags is awkward, and then there's no intergender offense.
It's not really much of a tag match.
No, it's two singles matches.
It's a conjoined singles match with a bit of interaction.
Conjoined, nice.
And not like, I don't know. It's never really that interesting to me. I don't know. I just can't really get into it that much. So I thought it was fine. But
me too. Yeah. I don't think there was anything bad on this show. And for a WWE PLE,
that's good enough.
That's something, right? We get the men's Elimination Chamber match, which is Theory defending first time a U.S. title, I assume, in the Chamber.
They did mention that, yes.
So Theory's defending against Seth Rollins, Montez Ford, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Johnny Gargano.
You didn't mention what Seth Rollins was wearing. I'm offended.
I did not. Go ahead.
He was wearing white.
He was.
So I'm happy.
And
it looked awesome.
And we get a treat, too, because Gargano and Rollins start out in this, and the crowd is singing, not quite using the words, but you know what I mean, Rollins' theme for quite a while.
Have words.
So fast-paced, numerous pinfalls to start, but then I feel like Gargano was just kind of in this. Like, I feel like Montez Ford was featured, Bronson Reed was featured a bit, and then obviously...
Theory, obviously, because
he retains.
Well, yeah, but he also was featured because everyone beat him up for a bit. Like, he took the brunt of the thing.
Yeah, I just thought, I was hoping for more for our boy Gargano. But anyways, what happened in here? I'm going to try and cherry pick this as well. Theory then at one point, Reddy was trying to convince Gargano to work with him. You could hear him because he was saying the fans only care about Rollins because they were clearly behind Rollins here in Montreal, which must have made you happy. Mm-hmm. Gargano refuses, obviously, and hits him. Theory hides in a pod a little bit later, but Rollins and Gargano get in the pod with him and just attack him from there. I've seen that WWE released a different camera angle of that, I think, like from the pod. Yeah. Priest comes in, cleans house, broken arrow to Gargano at one point. What else? Superplex Falcon Arrow combo, which I always appreciate, by Rollins to Damian Priest for 2, as Reed enters the match, and he just dominates. Remember, he hits a Samoan drop to Gargano and Rollins at the same time, right? Stacks them up and hits it.
Right.
He also hits a German suplex to Priest into the cage, and then splashes him against the pod, which I thought looked pretty good. We get Reed goes up top and hits a shoulder tackle to Theory off the top. I thought they did a really good job of making Reed look like a bit of a monster here, right? In this, if you can't have him win, like, let him dominate people.
Right.
So
do stuff.
Ford's last one in. He ends up. I also liked here a ripcord power slam by Bronson Reed to Theory. I thought looked pretty good. Doomsday Device to Gargano turns into a Gargano Poison Rana to Reed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. That was a pretty cool...
And then it was like a stomp and something else, and then Frog Splash, and I think he was out.
Yeah. Ford then starts climbing the chamber to escape Priest, and he goes all the way up to the top, and is just kind of hanging from the top of the chamber and drops onto the rest. I thought that was a unique use of the structure, right? Like, sure, it was safe and it was onto a bunch of people, but at least it's something I don't really remember seeing often, right? So I thought that was a cool use of him. Gargano and Rollins, remember they climbed up on top of one of the pods and just sort of sat down and took a little break before brawling each other. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. We got a slingshot DDT to Theory on the platform, sort of the part connecting the apron to the cage, which I thought looked pretty good. A blockbuster powerbomb combo from Ford and Rollins finally eliminates Damian Priest. And then we get Ford and Rollins face off, and what did he went for? Oh, he leaps onto everybody a couple times. We get a Ford rock bottom to Theory, but Theory gets his knees up when Ford goes for his super high splash. And then we get a Rollins stomp, but Theory steals that pinfall and eliminates Ford. We then get a Liger bomb by Rollins for 2, which I thought was pretty cool. And the officials have to come in and help Ford out of the chamber because he's selling being injured or groggy or knocked out or whatever it is. So the chamber door gets left open. So what could happen then? We get a pedigree by Rollins. Logan Paul shows up, obviously, hits a buckshot lariat, and then a curb stomp to Rollins. So Theory then takes advantage, hits his A-Town down, eliminates Rollins, and he retains the U.S. Championship. I thought this was really good, actually.
Logan Paul needs to stop using buckshot.
I was very entertained by this match. I thought it was much better than the women's match.
It's exactly what I was hoping for, because I really liked generally speaking, the field in this.
Yes, the field was stronger for sure, and they took the time to go, hey, Bronson Reed, look like a monster, and a couple high spots for Ford, and just like Rollins, a workhorse, obviously,
Rollins
right?
Gargano. Pretty much.
Yeah, so I thought everybody looked good in this and offered tons of action and a few like memorable spots, like the thing from Ford on the top, Gargano and Rollins on the pod, and the finish just, I mean, say what you will about Logan Paul, it is a good way to further their angle,
that makes
right?
sense. I'm not.
And a clever as they can be way to get the door open for him to get in, right? So because it's a medical issue, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
so
they didn't do the Shawn Michaels thing where you literally come under a panel on the floor,
right?
Because I guess there aren't panels anymore.
And I guess Theory's kind of in the Carmella role here, where he's like the opportunistic heel, right? And he doesn't really deserve the title.
He's like talented though. So
yeah. So it's kind of like he's gonna keep the title even though he may not deserve it. I thought all 6 of these guys worked really hard here. Thought this was a pretty high quality chamber match. I was really happy with it. I thought a bunch of people came out of this looking good. You?
Yeah, I liked it. Rollins wore white, so that was pretty cool.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it was like mostly white, but there was like a bit of black in there and like some gold, so that it was nice. But yeah, so I think it's smart. Having him and Gargano start Rollins with the whole thing, so that was pretty cool. Ford got a decent showing actually. I remember Triple H saying he's a star after, which
I picked to win. I went out on a limb on that one. You got that one. I think we end up tying. Because I picked Lashley and you picked this one.
If only I'd picked Lashley. But like, and the whole thing, Ford looked good here, but I'm not too sure about the single star thing for him. Like he's got it, but like I don't know if it's.
I don't think it's like straight to main event star, but if you want to like start developing him and he's a US.
Yeah, but you still got. I don't even know if I'd want him with the title yet. I think he's still got some.
Not yet.
To do.
No.
Anyways, I thought that was good. I think the finish works as. I still don't like Paul, but it works.
Right.
He did seem kind of heel here. I'm hoping that's the case.
He has to.
Yeah.
A, people want to cheer for Rollins, and B, like, there's never been a more natural heel.
He just helped Theory, too, so...
It's like if Charlotte tries to be a face, right? Like, sorry, it doesn't work for you. You are a heel.
Ripley's a heel, so figure that one out.
Randy Orton's kind of similar for me that way.
Right, so, like, I don't know. The finish works, and, like, Reed looked really good. Gargano didn't really much to do, which kind of sucks. And then Priest got a little bits, but Priest felt like largely a background player here.
Yeah,
as well.
It was Reed and Ford for me that were. Yeah. And then Rollins is Rollins, right? He's just a workhorse.
Yeah, so I think generally this one was really good, though.
Me too.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I was a fan.
I'm not sure if I liked it more than the main event or not. It's close.
It was definitely a 2-match show for me.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, the main event, which is what everyone was waiting for. Roman Reigns defending against Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
That's some quality note-taking. Let's try Sami Zayn in Montreal. So the crowd is absolutely rabid for him at this point, which is awesome. It just adds to everything, this crowd. Huge reaction when he enters, obviously. The match took, I think, like about 5 minutes before it even gets started, right? Because they're just kind of in the ring together. The crowd is all over Roman Reigns, like inappropriate chants abound, right? The energy in this place must have been incredible to be there. So I'm not going to get too much into it, right? This is a Roman Reigns match, so you know what that is. And then you've got Sami just fighting back in flurries. So Reigns is working his slow, deliberate style and talking the whole time, right? And Sami's getting in some flurries and some haluva kicks and really believable near fall. At one of those late haluva kicks was a near fall that was everybody was sort of buying into. But I mean, we talked about that it wasn't impossible for Zayn to win, but we didn't think he was going to win, right?
Yeah,
So,
it was definitely possible, but I didn't expect it.
no. So where do we get? Oh, right. The ref ends up taking a Superman punch, right? Heyman gets Roman a chair. Jey Uso shows up at that point, and then we get a stare down, and Roman, just like he did with Sammy, right? He hands the chair to Jey and tells Jey to make the choice. Basically, Roman ends up turning his back, just like he did on Zayn, but the difference is Jey doesn't attack him, right? He doesn't attack anyone. So then Reigns actually pie faces Jey and then dodges a Sammy spear that takes out Jey by accident. So we get chair shots to Sammy from Reigns and another spear just as a ref shows up and basically makes the count. And it's over after that spear in 32 minutes. So
32, yikers.
it was a long one, right? So Owens shows up post-match, attacks Reigns after the match. Owens gets a chair as Heyman tries to attack him from behind. We get a stunner to Heyman. Owens backs away so Sammy can hit one more haluva kick to Roman Reigns, but it's not clear that they're like together at this point, right?
Which I think is now kind of not, definitely not as of now as with the Raw segment.
Yeah, I thought the match, like a very good main event. I don't know if I'm ever going to say a Reigns match is absolutely amazing. Just the style he works, which fits his character, and I don't think he should change at all because that's what he does, right? But it was as much about storytelling as it was the action in the ring anyways, and the story was great. A lot of moving parts to this, but fantastic build. The drama and of this entire situation made it not bother me at all, right? That there was so much going on here. Because we had ref bumps, right? That could have been a bit much, but they had to get a way to get both Usos involved in this. Stretches were deliberate for sure, but again, that's how Roman works. The crowd got some really good near falls that they got super excited about. Everybody did their job really well here. And the fact that they even had us, right, saying, maybe there's like a 10 or 15% chance Sammy wins.
I didn't like fully think, because some people were like, he's gotta win.
No.
I was never on that.
But still, like, they had people believing some of the near falls, right? So they did some really good storytelling here. And it's just a testament to that this company can do stuff really well if they get out of their own way or if they let Heyman do it. I don't know if it's him, but really entertaining main event, I thought. You?
Yeah, I liked it. I think like, I don't know, part of it, like, it was really good. I think
I thought so.
It was better than the usual Roman one. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like it's still, I didn't get fully into it because Roman does tend to be slow. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. It's like, it was pretty hot, and like the whole hometown thing, like that added a lot for me. And I think Zayn was pretty hot. Like when Zayn was in control, I think when things picked up, I really liked it. And Roman does a good job. Like, I'm not gonna act like it's bad just because he's like all slower, but that's just like kind of the rhythm you kind of settle into with these. So that's just, you got to expect that, but it just does kind of ground it to a halt a little bit. But I thought like it was better than most Roman matches because I agree. Tend to be like really...
And Sammy's facial expressions and the whole build and everything just made it more like I wanted to pay more attention because of the story that's attached to it, right? Than some Roman Reigns matches. But yeah, really good main event, really good aftermath. The show overall, I thought, like, nothing was bad, so that's a pretty decent main roster PLE, right? Like, Brock Lashley was nothing really, but it was less than 5 minutes, right? And it was gone. So the final two matches I thought were really good. The men's chamber match and the main event were really enjoyable matches. And again, this show was just over 3 hours instead of being like 4.5, pushing 5, right? So that's more manageable than some of their longer ones. So I didn't feel like my time was wasted at all, but nothing really blew me away either. I think I like the men's chamber match the best, but I thought a solid offering from them. I gave it a B. I don't know if you want it.
I think it definitely beats out the Rumble because I think there wasn't anything I disliked. It was pretty short because obviously
it's like they took a PLE and trimmed the fat, right?
Yeah.
And just like, this match we don't need, this we don't need.
I feel like since the pandemic, or at least like in the past year, they've done a better job of like keeping them like. I've noticed it's never more than 5 matches with WrestleMania being the exception. I think it's at least the latter half of last year.
Yep. Like takeover size.
Right.
That's what we want.
Pretty much, yeah. And so I think the opener was okay. Lashley Brock was a disappointment, but not very long, so I guess that's okay. The mixed tag wasn't the best, but it wasn't fine.
Bad. Yeah,
I really enjoyed the men's chamber.
Me
the
too.
Main event was pretty great too, and that the storyline really helps that one.
For sure.
And it also kind of furthers things along to make it more interesting going forward. So I don't know. I'd say it was a solid show. Nothing like spectacular, but I'd say B is fair.
Yeah, I
'cause
think so.
I'm never like big on main roster stuff.
It's nice to not hate something on a PLE, to be honest. So that right there, they were working
That's a
from
start.
a better
That's
spot,
a start, I
than
guess, yeah.
usual. All right, so now we'll go back into our regular scheduled programming, which is where we're going to dive into this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, time for you to talk about Dynamite while I take a bite of this protein ball here.
Yeah, I tried one of those yesterday.
What'd you think?
Well, they're okay. I don't know. The texture's not really my thing.
The texture's tough to. These ones are pretty good.
I don't know. It's just something's off of it. Like I generally like the taste 'cause it's like a lot of peanut butter and stuff, but I don't know. Something about it's just meh.
Maybe the ground flax or the chia, or what I think that's what's in here.
I don't know. Just,
There's some healthy bits in there. I don't know.
It's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we start off with Orange Cassidy versus Pure Champ Wheeler Yuta for the AEW All Atlantic Championship.
Wait, right. Do you remember the name of the episode this week? And we were like, what? Because on our recording, it said AEW The Next Round.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Like, what is that? But anyways.
I don't. That was absent from anything, so I don't. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. Anywho,
Sorry.
we had holds and counters early on. Cassidy tried to pin Yuta with the seatbelt for 2, which is kind of Yuta's thing, so they made that up a point. Yuta was kind of frustrated on the outside after, and then Claudio comes out to motivate him. Then he comes back in, he takes control of the match. Later on, there's a diving forearm from the top for 2 from Yuta. Strike exchange and a double clothesline, they're both down for a bit. Yuta goes for a power driver on the apron. Cassidy counters, backdrops Yuta on the hardest part of the ring.
That's exactly right.
Cassidy goes for a beach break, can't get him up after, like, I think Yuta was back targeting him, maybe on the commercial break, because I didn't see it. And Yuta connects with the power driver for 2. We get an orange punch from Cassidy for near fall. Then a beach break, also another near fall. Then Yuta's up on his knees, kind of defiant. Then Cassidy puts him down with a second orange punch, and that gets the win.
Yeah, and before this match, I had a bunch of questions, actually. Wheeler is a heel in a segment that airs as he enters. He calls himself a bully, refuses to shake hands. Where did this come from? I don't mind. It just seems sudden. It seems like Blackpool's kind of more embracing that a little bit now than they were before, to me. I don't know.
I'm wondering if it's maybe just like, I feel like it's a byproduct of this mini feud, and also Moxley kind of leaning into that with the Hangman thing.
Which
I feel
I'm
like
fine with, yeah.
They might have to kind of follow suit. Like, and I didn't think of that when we were watching this. I thought it was just like, oh, just kind of a situational thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like now that I'm thinking about also the Hangman feud, I feel like maybe Blackpool's kind of leaning into that.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and even if it's temporary, because Danielson was kind of healed before Blackpool, and then this kind of switched him again. So
right.
I don't know.
I thought this was a pretty great match, and even it started it with a ton of, not even holds and counters, I guess is right, but like them rolling each other up constantly, and there were some creative ones in the midst of all of that, so I didn't mind that. And I thought this match built, and Yuta looked great in this, I thought, and Cassidy like played the role of taking a lot of offense and doing what he does really well. And on top of in ring, it seems to be, like we just said, telling this story of like more aggressive, leaning into almost heelish Combat Club, and I am totally fine with that. And it just seems like every now and then, right, the Moxley match comes to mind. Like, we're reminded that Yuta's capable of matches like this, right? He just isn't the focus of much, which is too bad. I don't think he's amazing on the mic, but he's improved.
Even with the Pure title.
Yeah, it's right. When it was weird when he came down with the belt on, I was like, wait, he's challenging, right? Right. So I like this so much. I would have been cool even if it went to a draw, because I remember at one point they talked about the time limit coming close, right? So regardless, I thought it was a terrific opener. I'll say it now, by far my favorite match on the show, which is not a great sign for Dynamite, but I'm happy to see some sort of direction out of Blackpool, because for a while it was like, are they even together once Regal's gone? So
yeah, I feel like that might have kind of been a bit of a disruption for them, but I feel like they kind of got back on track.
Yeah, and Claudio's coming down and slapping him, right, and in the middle of the match and stuff. So yeah, I really like this match a lot. And it's funny, because if you ask me if I love Orange Cassidy, I'll say no, but then like a lot of his matches I think are pretty great. So I guess I do like him. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid opener. It was pretty good. Considering it was quickly set up. I think it was set up on Rampage, I want to say.
Right.
It did help that they already had some prior history, so it's kind of that does most of the legwork, I think.
Yeah, it was the
Even though
Cassidy was like a mentor for
yeah,
Yuta,
that's
which
what
I
I
don't
was gonna say.
remember.
The setup for the match was a little flimsy
I
because
thought
not
so.
too sure about that aspect of it, but like the general history works.
Match was awesome though.
Works well enough. Action here is pretty good. Yuta got a lot of offense in, looked really good. Best he's looked in a while, and Cassie took it pretty well. Dished out some solid stuff in his own right. I thought kicking out of a couple finishers helped Yuta look good.
Yep.
Last Orange Punch felt like a nice climax and appropriate finish. Really nice TV match to start us off.
Yep.
Next we get an interview with Hangman and Evil Uno. Hangman was speaking up, then Uno said he's heard Hangman speak about his friends, and he's like saying it sounded like he thinks Uno can't hang with Mox.
Yeah, I like that. It's like he was something about like it makes us think we're not on your level. Like you think we're not on your level because you won't allow us at the ring, right?
Right.
I like that.
Right. And so he doesn't want Hangman to get involved no matter what happens. And he said that John Moxley will find out exactly why his name is Evil Uno.
Yeah, I thought like Uno's really good on the mic, right? And I did like that part about like whenever you tell us not to come, it's like you don't think we deserve to be there on your level. But like, I don't know, what do you do with Dark Order at this point?
I don't know.
Did they need a new leader? But who would it be? Like, can you just elevate Uno? I don't feel like you can. They can't.
For
They're
me,
stuck in
it's
this low mid
partially
card.
it's a little worse because I feel like if Grayson and Uno were still a team, at least that's a prominent tag team for them to
Yes.
like. But then the issue is there's multiple tag teams within the faction, so it's like
Add one and go trios.
yeah,
Silver?
I'd like Silver, Reynolds and Silver, Grayson and Uno.
Me too.
But I don't know. Then Reynolds is just kind of in this weird limbo, so I don't.
Yes.
It's like it's all weird, you know.
It is. I agree, and I don't know if they need a leader to be the main event person of the group or whatever. Because I don't think Uno. I love Uno. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to be like main eventer guy. So I don't know. I like all of them, and I think they're all fun to watch in ring. I just don't know where you go with them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, this was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was solid. I liked it a bit, even if it was pretty short. I thought like I like getting more personality and some fire from Uno, and he kind of called out on Hangman for like that implication. You can kind of see in Hangman's face, he knows that's kind of true.
Right.
He's kind of like remorseful for
or
that.
at
I
least
guess.
like I can see why you would think that, right?
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the
Or,
case.
yeah. Or yeah, he gets what he's saying. We all know Uno loses, but I think they're still doing a good job of his presentation before the match.
They tried, right? I agree.
Even though it was only starting last week, I think they're doing a good job of making the most of the little time before the match.
And wasn't it that Uno was like 18-0 or something going into this? Weren't we
he's
like
undefeated for like what was it, 6 or 8 months?
something like that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Good old Uno.
Something weird.
Good Canadian boy.
Mm-hmm. So we hear from Ricky Starks next. He talks about dealing with all the Jazz interference he's in the ring for the past couple of months. And it's clear Jericho doesn't want a rematch, and he accepts that.
Couple
so
months.
He's moving on from Jericho pretty much the whole year.
Right?
Their match was the first on Dynamite this year.
He must like if I'm working for them and they're like, listen, man, we're gonna put you in a program with Jazz. I'd be like, no, please.
Your year's.
I guess on the flip side is you're gonna get on TV for like 3 months,
and you're working with Jericho.
Yeah.
Which I guess is like that's a cool.
But
thing.
yeah, just another lengthy Jazz feud.
Yeah, he says he has an open contract for a match against him at Revolution, and he knows back there is someone who wants to get on the card real bad. So he lays out the challenge. Judas hits, out comes Jericho. Oh my god.
Shocking.
Jericho says the biggest moment in Stark's career was beating him, and he can hang on to that for the rest of his career, but it'll never happen again. And you can beat him any day of the week, but it'll never happen because Starks is beneath him, so he wishes him good luck with the open challenge. Then, fresh look Peter Avalon comes out. And wants the open challenge, but Jericho's kind of like nah, and he takes the Juice effect, and he's wearing like a spiked jacket.
Yeah.
And pants.
Yes, the matching set.
And then Jericho makes his way to the ring. Jericho says with an open contract, just anyone can take it. Yes, that's how that works. And Starks really wants Jericho, and he says maybe he should take the challenge and embarrass Starks at Revolution. And Starks is kind of like goading Jericho, saying like we don't know how it goes, and Jazz is gonna interfere and something like that. So he's basically trying to goad Jericho. And Starks said Jericho won the AEW title by himself, and he beat Austin Rock by himself, obviously not mentioning them by name. And Starks said he could just not bring Jazz and kind of prove himself,
yeah,
or something like that. And Jericho says he could easily beat Starks 1-on-1. and he's one of the best to do this, and he'll even write like one amendment.
Yeah.
Amendment.
Yeah.
That Jess had to stay in the back and sign it. But he doesn't have a pen. Stark says he does, and Jericho grabs it. He raises it like the list of Jericho, and he signs it and agrees to the match and says, "Be careful what you wish for, because nobody outsmarts the Ocho." And I was just thinking the whole contract, the additional clause there, kind of reminds me of Money in the Bank 2016 when we were gearing up for the first Cena Styles match, and I remember Cena had 2 contracts. One of them was Cena versus Styles with the club, and then one of them was Cena versus Styles, and he goaded Styles into taking one without interference, and then they interfered without Styles knowing.
Yeah.
And then, or no, it was, I don't know. Anyways, they interfered and got Styles the win. I don't know if it was without them or not, but point is they interfered still, so I feel like they could do something like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I was hoping for like a cage match or something, because then that would be like
to keep people out, right?
Right, and also that's something cooler, because personally, like, I thought the segment was solid, but like nothing spectacular. And open contract was interesting, but I guess I should have seen this coming, which I didn't. But I'm kind of I feel like I should have. And for me, this still suffers with the fact that literally the first thing they did in this feud was have this match that they're building.
That is part of my problem.
They did this first. This was the first thing they did, which, that's fine, because like, Jericho could win dirty and keep the feud alive. But Starks won in the first match.
I was just going to say, and who won? So how is Jericho standing there going, "You're beneath me and you can't hang with me"? I'm sorry,
that's what I'm saying here. Like, I feel like unless they tack on something else, this match isn't big on hype for me. Like, I thought for no interference, you'd do like a cage or something, or like, I don't know, something.
Yeah, lumberjack. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, this was super cartoonish, and I thought Jericho looked like an idiot, which maybe is what they're going for, but like, this is like Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote stuff, or like Bugs Bunny Elmer Fudd stuff, where he's so easily manipulated, and Starks gives the look of like, yeah, I got exactly what I wanted, which I thought, and Starks is fine, but this is just, I don't know. Starks is cooled for me a bit, and
if Starks is really beneath him, why would you even come out? Just leave the open contract.
And in 30 seconds, you go from "I'm never doing it" to "Yes, I'm in, and I'll include the stipulation that you want as well." Right, so I don't know. I'm
guess because he's so much better than Starks.
Jas is wearing away Starks' interest for me, and I'm almost, after Yuta's opening match there, I'm almost more hyped on Yuta than I am on Starks right now. But I guess the point is,
I'm not sure about that yet, because I don't feel like Yuta, they don't do a lot.
They don't, and he's not as good on the mic or character-wise as Starks, obviously. But like, I don't know. The savvy veteran Jericho, who's this wrestling genius, looks like an idiot here, right? Unless the only way that they can save this for me is that Jericho has something planned. You know what I mean? Like, he's a step ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
thinking.
He lets
like
Starks manipulate him. Right.
Jas will interfere anyways, but like, I don't know. There's no guarantee that that's where that goes.
I just like, this got a bunch of time, and I'm just not interested in it, right? And Jericho it was very, very cartoony, which I guess is sports entertainment, which I guess is their gimmick, but
I
whatever.
guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the feud kind of peaked early. It's weird. And then, I mean, actually, I think the peak was definitely Hager, so my mistake.
He likes his hat.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely likes it.
It's all he can say now, in fact.
Exactly. I think that's the limit of his vocabulary. It's like Groot, but...
I was just going to say that. It gets a few more syllables.
it's a few more words. Then we get a quick package with like a bunch of teams from the Battle Royal talking. There wasn't a lot here.
There was not.
Aussie Open didn't speak, so I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't even like them being included, to be honest. If you're not going to use them, don't. Like, save them. They're awesome.
They're in the Casino Royale next week, so
don't put them in a mid-card Battle Royal and not have them win.
Hopefully they win next week. Although, then it's the Acclaimed and 3 heel teams.
Although, how could they defeat Jeff Jarrett, right? That's just
true.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you know who else is in the Casino Royale next week?
Who?
I don't know if it's next week, but what's your favorite team in AEW?
Bear Country.
No, better.
Better. Is there a factory team in there?
No. They're higher card than that, but like you still love them.
Who do I not like?
You love both of them so much, especially the one.
Oh,
the one guy.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Taven and Bennett,
Yup.
of course, who have been
on fire.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The tag team hype video, the only note I had was I thought Darius sounded better than I expected and Dark Order were fine. But yeah, it was really nothing.
What was the other team?
I'll look it up. You talk.
I think it was. I think Claudio and Yuta are in that. Hold on. Wait. Yes. Okay. I got it.
All right.
So it's pretty similar to last week. We got 2.0, OGK, Best Friends, Sylvan Reynolds, Butcher Blade, Claudio Yuta, because they're a team. Top Flight, Lucha Bros, Pero Peligroso and Rouge, and then Aussie Open.
So they're putting some that were in the first one back into this one?
That's what they did last time.
Okay.
Because remember...
So who wins that one?
Aussie Open.
I hope so.
My guess, I'd say Aussie Open or Top Flight.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a decent chance you could put Top Flight in there, because let's say, hypothetically, the Guns retain here. I don't think you could... I mean... I guess if the Guns win, they could beat, like, Lethal or something. But, like, I'm trying to think, like, solid teams that maybe the Guns could realistically beat. And to me, that's
True.
Top Flight.
True.
Top Flight's they're a good team, but they're someone that I wouldn't mind the Guns beating either.
Yep.
I feel like if Aussie Open are in there.
They're kind of the amazing match, don't win type of team, right? So
Who, Top Flight or Aussie?
Yeah, Top Flight.
Okay.
Aussie Open is just awesome and should win.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like last year they did it, because I remember... it was the whole Redragon Bucks thing. I think the Redragon won the first thing, the Battle Royal, and then I think the Bucks came back in the second one and won that. I don't know. But I remember they won one and the Bucks won the other one. So, like, I'll talk about that later, but that was so much cooler. That whole storyline with the Battle Royals, like, that was cool to me. And I don't mind them doing this for the tag teams every year, but the way that's shaking out this year is not particularly
as engaging.
No,
for
but
sure.
we'll get there.
Yep.
Speaking of that match, we have the Acclaimed versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill.
Large William.
Big Bill, the best name in all the land.
I didn't write details this week, but I thought that I wrote pretty edgy rap this week from Caster. I thought it was a little more risque than some of his previous. Because remember, they were all like that, and then he got in trouble, and then he's been sort of having them checked over by somebody, I think, maybe Tony Khan. But this one was, I don't remember specifically, but I was like, huh? He's pushing the envelope a little bit again, which I like.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
So notables, there it wasn't a lot here, it was pretty short. Bowen's got a hot tag. He went on a tear against Moriarty. He also hit that strike combo he usually does on Morrissey. The Guns came out to beat up their father. That's a pretty nice idea. What a
fresh concept.
I think it's a good idea.
But anyways, we've done this.
I think beating up your father's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Yeah.
You should try that.
Actually, last time I was at Walmart, I considered purchasing a steel chair, so you better watch out.
I'm ready.
They have chairs.
No headshots.
No, that's all I'm doing. I'm gonna do like
I'm gonna buy two and do a concerto.
Rock.
Me and your mom, get ready.
Rock hitting like Ken Shamrock right in the face of the chair really hard. I'm gonna do that.
I'm ready.
And no, I'm not comparing you to Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, we're interchangeable, basically.
No.
The most dangerous man on the planet. Is that my gimmick?
Yeah.
Is that
no,
what it was?
I thought that was Tyson.
Oh. Shamrock had something like that.
Yeah, he was world's most dangerous man.
There it is.
I think then
also
Tyson was baddest man on the planet.
Correct. So in a battle, who comes out ahead?
Tyson or Shamrock?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's better, being the most dangerous or being the baddest?
Most dangerous or baddest?
Well, like,
because most dangerous doesn't mean you actually follow through on it, I guess.
Wait.
I'm dangerous, but no one ever tests me.
That's true. But the other question, like, how bad are you if you're the most dangerous? Like, or how wait, so isn't it kind of a paradox? Because, like, you got to be really bad to be the most dangerous, but you can't be the most bad too. And then you got to be really dangerous to be the baddest, but you're not the most dangerous.
Right.
So, like, you're not the best at both.
How can you ever get there?
I guess it's kind of a paradox. I don't even know how that came up. But
anyway, sorry. We digress sometimes.
That was funny. I think it was a hammerlock lariat to Bones for Moriarty, and then jumping flatliner for 2. Shelton Benjamin, what up? Then we had a rival and a mic drop on Moriarty. Acclaimed get an easy win.
They do.
It was okay. It was really short. Pretty basic TV match, I thought. Not really a lot to note, I thought.
I like Bowens. He continues to impress me, honestly.
Yeah. He usually gets a solid flurry in there, right?
Does.
Like, whoever got the hot tag, he usually gets something solid.
He's good.
Nick Jackson, Phoenix, etc. Probably Dante Martin. I don't know. I guess it furthers the heat between the Guns and the Acclaimed a bit before the tag match, but not really a lot was accomplished here. So like I was saying, I wish we had something like last year where we knew Redragon and the Bucks. Like I knew they were winning the 2 Battle Royals. There was like a story and then that around that match, like in Jurassic Express, where the chance that they just happened to be in there.
Oh yeah.
But I thought that all worked really nicely. That was way cooler. Like the Guns and the Acclaimed do have the existing feud here, but A, the Acclaimed didn't win a Battle Royal. B, it's not as interesting. C, I miss Red Dragon.
Yeah, like this was predictable. It was a decent TV tag match, I guess. Like the Factory are pretty much enhancement talent at this point, which is interesting when they rolled in here with MJF, right, in their group. And I know I say this often, but the Guns have already turned on their father and feuded with him, right? Like we did this. This is how it settled into the Acclaimed or with him. So doing the same thing again is kind of curious to me, and I'm enjoying the Guns more than I have in the past. I still think they're obviously not amazing in ring by any means, but like we did this, man. I don't know why you're trying to make me feel like we haven't done this before. But anyways,
We have.
it was fine.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want FTR or I want Aussie Open.
I just want to get past this and into whatever's on the other side of this at this point. Which is true of a couple storylines right now in AEW for me.
FTR? I don't know.
It feels like it.
When are they coming back?
I don't know.
Next we get Christian Cage interview on the stage with Shivani. Before he speaks, Jungle Boy attacks from behind, hits a basement layer to the back of the head. Then he comes back out with 2 chairs. He's gonna go for concerto. He hesitates because he's a nice baby face, but that means he's stupid. So he hesitates too long and he gets hit in the balls.
He does.
Then Cage repeatedly rams his face in the steel chair until he's busted open. It was a fine bit, pretty short. More heat on Christian, but it didn't really accomplish a lot for me, I guess.
Yeah, it's that story of Jungle Boy is not willing to do the things that Christian is willing to do, and that's the place that Jungle Boy has to get to, right, to have a chance against Christian in the match they're going to have. So I like that they accomplished that without speaking, which is kind of different, right? So you kind of got it through Jungle Boy's actions and facial expressions and whatever, and that's the idea. He needs to tap into something darker to beat Christian, and can he do that sort of thing, right? Are we going to get edgy Jungle Boy?
He needs to be all jungle, no boy.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Then we got a recap of Wardlow's segment last week, then a quick Joe promo. I didn't really know anything from that, but it was solid.
My note was, I believe everything Joe says.
That's because he'll choke you out.
He just sounds legit, right? Like, as long as you don't over-script it and make it whatever WWE would do, probably. Although even in NXT, I didn't have a problem with them. He's legit, man.
Some
I
of his
believe
main
him.
roster promos were solid too. I remember I keep seeing the clip of the one.
And I was saying,
before Elimination Chamber.
I don't think he was always good, but I could be wrong. That's going back really far to early Joe for me.
That'd be like
Impact.
ROH even.
For me, it was Impact, TNA. I don't think I was into ROH at that. I might have gone back and watched some. I can't remember. But definitely Impact, early Joe. All right, carry on into, I get to say it, so hurry up. I get to say it.
Saraya versus Sky Blue.
This is your women's match
Saraya
on this 2-hour show.
Blue.
Sky Blue, this is your women's match, and Saraya. Okay? So let that sink in. Go ahead. I almost root for weak matches because I get to say it. It's my favorite thing.
Want to guess how many things I noted, and you can include the finish.
3.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right, what are they?
There's a diving crossbody from Sky Blue. She nearly pinned Saraya off the basement dropkick. Remember with the whole Tony Storm distraction?
You're right.
That's just sad. And Saraya submitted Blue with that cool submission she had from WWE. Like
it does look cool.
I do like that.
Credit where credit is due.
I don't remember what it's called, nor do I care to look it up.
The only other thing I remember is
cool.
Storm hit a nice snap suplex on the floor.
Sure.
Because now that's her role, right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess this was fine. I didn't care.
No, I didn't care. Yeah. What was it? They're gonna spray paint her.
Right.
Hayter and Baker came out. Then Soho was there or something probably. I don't know.
Didn't she come out like gesturing for the belt or whatever?
Yeah, it's like whose side is she on?
Ugh, which you love.
Matters, and I care.
Yeah, that's what leads me to like this entire angle's just a miss for me, and I just want Baker and Hayter like extracted from this whole storyline somehow and given something else because they're cool. And Hayter is cool, and I don't want this to be her title run, right? Where this is one of the big parts of her title. Saraya has done nothing in AEW other than drag Tony Storm down from like a champion that was really growing on us, right? And to now like a lackey of
Mhm.
somebody who I don't believe as a main eventer. So it's just she's an anchor on Tony Storm, unfortunately. And then I do have the note here, and boy does Jack love the whole whose side is she on
It's so dumb.
for Ruby
'Cause,
Soho.
like, A, who cares?
Right.
B, she's not an original.
And it's this idea that she's so good that she's going to shift the balance of power, right? Like she's like it's Survivor and she's the one that can choose the
If you're
side.
Baker and Hater, shouldn't you be recruiting, like, Nyla Rose or Sheeta?
Like what's Ruby Soho doing that she is the difference maker?
Right, like, Riho.
I don't know.
Okay, not Riho.
But
But, like, if you're Saraya and Storm, I guess you could take, like, Soho, Willow, other people.
Deeb,
Deeb, I guess.
where's Serena
Athena.
Deeb?
Cargill.
Oh wow, when's the last time we saw Athena? She turned heel
She won the
in
ROH
Canada.
title.
And then gone. Anyways, yeah, this match, this segment, if it wasn't there, I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, the
I'll
ROH
say that.
Yeah. It's so, like, I don't even care about to comment on the post-match stuff mostly, but, like, because it's so confusing and uninteresting to me. Like, I hate to say it, but I'd rather you stick me back in Blackpool versus Jazz. I'd rather watch that for weeks on end.
Probably.
Because at least that had better matches, and also that kind of made sense at least.
Yeah.
Like, as drawn out as it was, sports entertainment, pro wrestling, violence, like, not violence, that makes sense to me. This does not make sense to me.
It's NWO 2.0, man. It's big time. Invading
You got,
from
like,
another
it's like
company.
it's Hollywood and Wolfpack or something.
That's
So you
it.
got, like, splinters of the division or something.
That's how history will remember it, okay? You're just not on the side of history right now. This is amazing stuff.
This is the next NWO
It is.
Revolution, yeah.
Yep.
Next we hear from Bryan Danielson in the ring.
Huge crowd reaction. Yes, chance, the whole deal. Again, like, good old Dynamite crowd, generally. They're pretty hot.
Yeah, where were they? Phoenix.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was, like, the first time or something.
You say so.
He says it seems as if they want him to win the title of Revolution. And he says he'll do everything in his power to beat MJF for the title. Bryan spoke about how MJF said last week that he hates him.
It's not nice.
He recapped that MJF tried to break Daniel's arm, not Danielson, Christopher Daniels, and then he put a bounty on Bryan's head. He took out his mentor Regal, and then here comes MJF. He was on the ramp saying he knows who Bryan is and he knows himself. He said that his dream girl convinced him that not everyone in this world is bad. He said he got down on one knee and he wanted to start a family with her and he wanted to have kids with her, and MJF claimed that she left him. And I thought he was going to be talking about his current fiance, but I was mistaken, I guess. MJF said that the AEW World title is the only thing that's stopping him from grabbing some pills and calling it a day. He said everybody loves and respects Bryan while chanting yes at the top of their lungs. MJF said that Bryan has something MJF will never have, and he said that Bryan has a smart, adoring wife and two happy, healthy children, yet he takes it all for granted. He said that on March 5th,
Hey.
they'll know that Bryan isn't better than MJF. He said that Bryan has had more concussions and head trauma than everybody else in this business, while talking about how Bryan had seizures, yet he's still an MJF sport. He said when Bryan is in the ring, he's saying that wrestling is more important than his family and children. And MJF said Bryan is taking everything he would kill for granted. He ripped on Regal being a drug addict, that MJF put him at home in the hospital.
Right. I love that line. There's always like one thing that
What was it?
he says that's strange.
It was a shark smelling
smelling
like
water or
sharks.
something.
Like shark smelling water. Yeah, it was something
like
sharks
that.
and water, right?
Yeah.
MJ told Bryan he's going to punish him in the Iron Man match for trying to take the one thing MJF has in his life. He turned to the camera and saying he'll speak to Bryan's children at home. He told him not to mention his children or Bryan will kick the something out of him. He told Birdie, what's with people with stupid names? Didn't MJF name his kid Monroe Sky or something?
Probably.
I remember hearing about it when I was younger, and I was just like, that's dumb.
People do what they want.
Another one too that was stupid. Not Gargano. His is fine. I think he named his kid Quill, which I respect that because Star-Lord.
Sure.
But I can't remember. Anyways, Max told the Bryan's poorly named kid. Birdie and Buddy. Okay, so one of those makes sense. That he'll make Dada pay for his selfishness and make sure Dada will never play with them again. and make sure Dada can't pick them up again. And he finally got in the ring with Brian saying he's going to give him a gift, and so it was early onset. CTE got cut off, but I think it's
CTE. It's
CTE.
like brain issues from
Mhm.
concussions, and NFL players deal
Right.
with it. Nowinski,
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
But Brian stopped him and he attacked him. They exchanged punches until security kind of pulled them apart. Then you do the thing where they kind of break free occasionally
Yep.
and they fight. Then they took MJF out of the ring, and then when Brian broke free, he nailed MJF with the running forearm on the outside.
I thought it was the pull apart was over, and I was like, yeah, that was a pretty good pull apart. And then Danielson just ran from whatever, like one edge of, and just starched him with a forearm. It looked like it. I honestly thought he knocked MJF out. So great. And he almost hit the table that was there, kind of thing, too. So, I mean, if everybody's okay, that looked amazing, I thought.
Thoughts?
So it took a while for MJF to get there, and like apparently the part of the fiance dumping him was actually true, I guess his previous relationship, but once he tapped into the whole like every time you step in the ring you show that you love wrestling more than your family, I thought was an awesome route for a heel who's trying to get under someone's skin, obviously, right? And then also like the you have all I've ever wanted in a family and a wife and people you can trust, and you take that all for granted by wrestling every time you wrestle, which I was pretty riveted at that point. He's found a way to get under like composed, chill Danielson's skin, right? And that's what MJF wants to do. That's his goal, and he got there. So, and I thought the pull apart was good, and yeah, Danielson looked like he absolutely crushed MJF with that running forearm on the floor. So I thought this was a really strong segment that generates a bit more heat, right? Like MJF has pushed the buttons he's been trying to push, and Danielson is snapping and losing control and lost composure. And that's already a little win for MJF because you have to. Brian Danielson is a better wrestler than MJF in the ring. Not saying MJF's bad. I think Danielson's arguably the best in the world. So you have to tell a story where somehow MJF's closing the gap on that difference, right? Especially in an hour-long match. So this whole like you've got Brian Danielson seeing red and he's going to do things he wouldn't normally do because he's so enraged. That makes sense to me. So I thought this was a good job of that.
Right. Where's my... Okay, I gotta scroll down a bit. Yeah, so all around a pretty good segment. I thought Danielson was solid before MJF came out. He was good. Like, I agree. I think adds another layer to this. And I like that kind of resentment and trying to get under his skin and kind of keep it in character too. And the title's like kind of the only thing he has.
Yeah.
I personally find it kind of odd that he wants all that because he's such a scumbag heel.
He does seem like he jumps from week to week into almost slightly different characters. At some point, it might start to bug me.
Right.
You just talked about like.
I mean, maybe it is just a tactic to get like
framing somebody
to make it personal. I mean, I'm not sure what the.
And now you're like, all I want's a family.
Maybe there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just manipulation or something like
Could
that.
be.
But it's slightly odd to me, at least. It was good though. It gets the feud more personal. The family targeting is always a smart tactic.
Yep.
For
go after
reason.
them kids.
Yeah.
And
the last shot was pretty good too.
It was awesome.
Next we get Jamie Hayter interview. Saray and Soho get a title shot 3-way. Woohoo! I don't see how either of them is deserving.
No, I thought Hayter sounds good, but I don't care, right? I'm just gonna sit and wait for Britt to turn on Hayter because that's the feud I want, right? We get super mega heel Britt Baker again. She's done being Hayter's second. She's done with Hayter getting the attention. That's what I want. So I just need them to blow past Saraya stuff and get to where I want to. Like Hayter needs to continue to just solidify her spot as a champion and on this roster, and Britt needs to turn, and I hope it's coming.
Next we get the tag team battle royal that Aussie Open didn't win.
Correct, they did not.
That's the only thing I have to
And
say.
they weren't even like
notable.
Agree, that's the word. They may as well have not been in it, to be honest. They didn't really do much, but
I mean, at least they got.
But
a
at least
Rampage
we
match,
got
I guess.
a credible winner of this, right?
Yep.
No sarcasm, of course.
No.
I don't even know what that means.
So I'll run through like eliminations and stuff.
Yep.
I don't think I got them all because I didn't even bother.
It's a
to take
lot of
notes.
people in there.
Create
to
the
start.
TJR for the help here.
Yep.
So Lucha Bros, I think they took out Davari and Nice. I want to say.
Who I picked to win it. Sarcastically.
Because I knew they were a team. I thought it was Nice and Woods, but whatever. Butcher eliminated Aussie Open, WTF. And Darius was out too. I forget who got him. So yeah, Butcher single-handedly taking out. I think it was Aussie Open and Darius in one swoop. I think because they were trying to get out Darius and kind of byproduct of that. But that was just kind of bull.
Yeah.
He just took out Aussie just like that. Aussie Opens out.
Right. It's
So-
not doesn't make sense to me to
No.
have them there if that's how you're using them. But
Silver eliminated Blade. Butcher tossed out Reynolds. Penta eliminated Pero Pelagroso. Then Rouge eliminated Penta. Then later on, Rouge got sent out by Phoenix with a robot kick. Butcher would toss out Silver a little later on. Best Friends took out 2.0 after Danhausen curse. Then Chuck was eliminated by Lethal and Jarrett. Butcher eliminated Dante, which I thought elimination was kind of cool because he was like hanging on the ropes and like Butcher would like smack his hands off and then he was like grabbing onto each rope before he had to fall off. So I thought that was kind of cool actually. And then Phoenix sent Butcher out. Lethal snuck up behind Phoenix after Butcher was eliminated and eliminated Phoenix. And I think Excalibur thought they both did it because he was acting like Jared did teamwork.
Then they showed the replay. Jared didn't touch him.
No.
Yeah. Great teamwork. Nope.
No. Trent Beretta nearly eliminated Jared and Lethal, but they stay in with like a slow save from Satnam, which I thought was kind of lame. Lethal took a tornado DT from Trent, Trent Beretta, which always looks nice. Cause he always gets a nice swing on it, right?
He does. It's fast.
I like the way he does it.
Yep.
Yeah. But then Jarrett hit him with a stroke, tossed him over. He skinned the cat with Jarrett turning around like a dumb heel.
So dumb.
But then when he's flipping back in, Lethal dumps him out again. Then they both turn around like dumb heels, and they did like the flare walk. Trent did eventually get Lethal out of there, but then stroke. Jarrett eliminates Trent Beretta. Jarrett and Lethal win. So,
yeah, they did.
It was fine.
I had okay. So which is it? Fine or okay?
Fine.
Okay.
Nice. It didn't feel like much though, because I feel like even typically a battle royal, you can enjoy it, right? The action was pretty basic in this one though. Like I didn't love it, especially in the early going, which that can be forgiven. But I feel like it didn't really. There wasn't that point where it really picked up, because I feel like that you eventually you do usually reach that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even the end stretch wasn't particularly entertaining or memorable. Some solid bits in here, but nothing super memorable. Then you have the questionable choice of Aussie Open getting tossed out mid-match. Why were they even here? That's just such a waste. And to boot, we had the lame choice of winners in Jarrett and Lethal. Like, why are they still in this mix? That's just the worst choice you could have picked.
I don't get it.
Like, I don't know. Pick, like, honestly, like, Best Friends would even be fine. I'd be even fine with that. Like, anyone else.
They seem to be making some odd choices in the tag division right now, a little bit, right? But
yeah, the tag division is not as hot as it once was.
No. For me, several eliminations in this felt like they were setting up for something, but then like, nope, it's just something simple. Even the Dante Martin, that was cool with him like having to move his hands, but then I thought he was going to do something acrobatic and reverse and eliminate Butcher or Blade. Yeah. And then it's like, nope, he just falls to the ground. I feel like there was 2 or 3 like that where I'm like, okay, we're getting ready for something creative. Nope, they're just out. I don't know. And then yes, add to that who won. And I'm not happy by any means. So I don't think anything stood out about this, really.
No.
Right? This, not the best in-ring week for Dynamite.
And now the tag title match is really not looking too interesting for me. Like, it's Lethal and Jarrett, the Guns, and the Acclaimed.
Right.
Woo!
Exactly.
Party up in here. Anyways, we got a quick House of Black promo. I don't know, I didn't catch much from it because they speak weird. Like, weird people.
And it started out with Black and then
Black King Murphy.
Right. And Hart's there on the periphery.
Was she?
Yep.
I didn't even see her.
She was on the left-hand side.
King said something about purifying the current landscape of AEW, but basically just if it was they were like they wanted to talk to the elite about the current status as trios champions. So it seems like that's the next direction for them.
Right.
So I heard that was planned. So I guess House of Black versus Elite is coming. That's pretty sweet.
It's amazing.
That sounds awesome. So they got to start doing stuff again. So this is something, I guess, right? Like
it's what they always do, right? They come out, they look cool, they say some cryptic stuff that doesn't really mean anything, and then
need
they're
to start
gone.
Doing stuff because they had the best faction lineup since Death Triangle.
But honestly, the match, I don't care how they get there. I'll support watching that match anytime. But yeah, it's just. There's nothing new here from House of Black.
Remember what House of Black did at Revolution last year?
Yeah.
You do?
No.
That's the pre-show match that we liked.
Oh, yeah. We loved... Who was...
It was Penta, Oscuro, Pac, and Eric Redbeard. Because that was when Phoenix was still out
Eric
after
Redbeard.
his arm died.
He was a really good big man in that.
Yeah.
We were very impressed with him.
Yeah.
I do remember that, after all. Yeah, it was good. And when we saw them live, that was a pretty great match, too. At Super Kicked.
Oh,
House of Black.
okay. I was like, they weren't on the show we
No,
went
House
to.
of Black.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Next we get the Tony Khan announcement.
My only note: an ad for a thing I won't watch felt like WWE.
Yeah. Basically, he gets Cole to announce it again, which. So I'm just gonna say now, I thought it was Forbidden Door 2 getting announced,
I wish.
and then Adam Cole announcing it further made me think that it was Forbidden Door because I'm almost positive he did last year. There's like little doubt in my mind Cole was
Sounds
involved
right.
in the announcement. So when Cole came in, that made me think even more that it was Forbidden Door 2, and that's been rumored for a while. I think it's speculated to be like around the same date as last year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was really hoping for that. But then, so Cole announces a 1 hour show after Dynamite, a weekly show, basically like a behind the scenes kind of deal. I think, I don't know, all access. On the same night it debuts, he'll wrestle again. So he's gonna wrestle at the beginning of March, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So cool, I guess.
I felt like he's like the John Cena or Miz role here. Like, roll him out because he can kind of promote anything, right? Sort of. Which is, I know you don't like that comparison, but because he is so smooth and slick, right? And knows how to do media savvy.
I wish Cody was here because Cody would
do that. Yep. Media savvy for sure. But yeah, it was a thing I won't watch, so great.
Lame.
It's cool.
I was really hoping for Forbidden Door. I thought that was gonna be.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Really got my hopes up here.
Nope.
Dot Lethal and Jarrett thing, celebrating the win they didn't deserve. Guns are coming and propose to take care of business before Revolution switches them, so I guess they'll take out the Acclaimed or something. I don't know. But my interest in the tag title match has gone down.
Yeah, this should not be the focus of a at one point in the recent past, very talented division, right?
It still is. It's just like they're
not
making weird
using them.
choices. Cause
It's like they're consciously choosing to go into this
Acclaimed
valley.
is fine because they were popular as hell, but like
Yes.
the Guns is an odd choice. Even if you want to say transitional champions, I still probably wouldn't do that.
No.
Then you're wasting like Aussie Open, who like I'd keep them around Forbidden, at least have them do stuff. Like,
For
I mean,
sure.
I guess the box match is pretty cool, but like, I don't know. And I feel like Lucha Bros have not done anything in a while. So actually, that's not true. They probably need to cool down after the best of 7. I forgot about that already.
Wow.
But yeah, so I don't know. They're making weird choices right now for sure.
I feel like it's sort of tarnishing the Acclaimed because this is who's in their orbit right now, right? And they've been elevated above this, and now it feels like you're pulling them back down to where they were before you elevated them. And I don't think that's a good choice.
Yeah, I don't.
Even if they come out of it with the belts, which they may.
Which then I would think I'd argue this is even dumber because then why did the Guns win the titles?
Right. I don't know.
Which is gonna be my question regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, that's a question.
Oh, almost knocked those over. Okay. Main event time: Jonathan Moxley versus Evil, real name Uno.
Very short main event.
Yep. What, 7 minutes?
Yes. Correct.
So they're chops and then running corner splashes from Uno. At one point, he was like hitting Mox with his jacket and choking him. Uno and Mox are top the turnbuckles. Mox is ripping at the mask, which I think he did to 10 once or something. Uno fixes his mask and then Mox staggers on the apron. Uno boots him off. Cannonball from the top to the outside from Uno. Crossface shots from Mox. Uno is busted open.
Like leaking like a faucet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pair of pile drivers from Uno for 2. We get the finish with Mox, locks in the Bulldog choke, and just blood's dripping. Uno almost does get out, though, and then Mox kind of relocates into a sleeper, and Uno passes out in the hold. Mox is kind of keeping on until Dark Order come out to attack him. Then Claudio and Yuta come out to brawl, and Hangman comes out to attack Mox with a new theme, question mark, exclamation mark.
That's kind of upsetting.
That is upsetting.
I don't normally care, so if I'm upset, you must be.
But I love his. That's my favorite.
Apoplectic.
That's one of my favorites. Okay, it's awesome. And if you're telling me they're gonna change,
it just suited him perfectly.
I know, and I loved it. It was my favorite. Maybe not my favorite.
Kind of a weird decision.
It was my favorite though.
Yeah.
So like, what? You know. And he nearly hits the buckshot, but Mox rolls out, walks off.
Yeah, I mean, like
a heel.
A fun 7-minute match, but not a Dynamite main event, right? And Uno looked good and got a lot here for the time it took, and it's fast, physical, really, really bloody match that I wouldn't complain about at all if it were in the middle of any show, but it wasn't. It was the main event, and you gave it 7 minutes, and there's no universe where Uno wins, and you haven't featured Uno at all on TV in forever. So I don't know, but I enjoyed the match, but not as a main event. You?
Yeah, like It was kind of weird because I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it would be longer though, even though I knew Uno was losing. I just thought that it would be more competitive because like they built him up to like at least be like being capable of more than we usually see.
Yes.
But at least he got a solid flirt near the beginning. I just wish it got drawn out more so he kind of got more. It was not long enough for the main event. Uno did not get a nice showing in the segment last week, and he's been largely absent otherwise. So I don't know. The finish was pretty well done. Though I did like the finish. I thought that was actually pretty. That was pretty cool.
It was.
Post match was simple, building the Revolution match a bit. That was fine. I swear to God, if they actually change Hangman's theme, I'm done.
I think they did, man.
I can't find it yet, but when I find it, I'm gonna throw something.
Yeah, I believe you. I guess overall thoughts. Kind of disappointing episode for me. The opener I really enjoyed. The main event was good-ish, but not a main event. And then I didn't really like the women's match. Don't really care. The Battle Royal wasn't really anything special. Was there any other matches? Oh, Moriarty and Big Bill Acclaimed was nothing.
I forgot about that already.
Right. So
women's match.
Right. Segment-wise, I didn't really like the Starks Jazz thing. I really liked the MJF Danielson. That's probably the only in-ring thing that was awesome. So I don't even think, which is rare, that I can give this show, because then we get like Dutt and Lethal backstage, and the House of Black thing wasn't. So I'm gonna go C+. Very rare C for me. I didn't think this was a very good show this week. After the opener, I felt like opener and MJF Danielson segment, and that's about it on this show for me. So a rare C+.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of mid.
Yeah.
It was an alright show, I guess. It just kind of underwhelming. Best match was the opener. Everything else was fine. Like not
right.
The matches really weren't that spectacular this week. Some good segments like MJF Danielson, but nothing else really wowed me. The Battle Royal was largely a letdown because I generally like a good Battle Royal. So
yeah.
A lot of stuff just okay, I thought. It doesn't help that the Battle Royal winners were absolutely the wrong call. So I'd say I'm going to go B-.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's take a break from that and talk about some trivia that we have this week in our segment called Off the Top of His Head. All right, this week I went to Sportster, I believe it was, and they had some sort of top 10 on WWE World Heavyweight Championship stuff. So from their 10 and also reading the information they provide after, I formulated more questions, you know what I mean? So I think I got it up to like 20 out of these, because they would put one interesting fact, and then as they would explain it, there were several questions I could glean from that. So you ready? So specifically, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like there's a chance where you go, nope, that's not right. But
wait, so which World Heavyweight title? What do you mean, like the World Heavyweight title is in the big gold, or like WWE World Heavyweight title when they unified it?
Well, you tell me what the answer to the first one is, and it'll probably clarify. Okay. Who was the inaugural champion?
Triple H.
Correct.
Okay,
so we're doing that
Heavyweight title.
Okay. And what year was that?
2002.
Wow, why? Why already do you know these things? How did he get it?
Bischoff gave it to him.
Yeah.
Because he was number one contender to the WWE title.
Oh, okay.
But then
that's more than I got.
Steph brought him to SmackDown exclusive because originally he was co-branded champion.
Yeah.
And Bischoff's like, belt.
Right. How many times would Triple H hold the belt?
Okay, so.
Oh, here we go.
Once, then he lost it to Michaels, but then he won it back, so that was 2. Then he held it for a while. Then I think he lost to Goldberg and then won it back, so that's 3. Then
this kid's
lost
wrestling brain
to Benoit.
And I assure you, he does not know the
then
topic.
He won it from Orton
until we sit
4.
here.
Then wasn't it vacated randomly? So we'll go 5.
5 is correct.
Nice.
You weirdo. It was defended in a brand new match type in 2002. What match?
Elimination Chamber.
Correct. Who won?
Shawn Michaels.
Correct. How many times did Michaels hold the belt?
Once.
That's not the answer I have.
What? That was the only time he held it. He won it.
It's not even close to that.
What? What do you mean?
It says 4.
He had the WWE title. I know he only held that belt once, and it was pretty.
So
short.
Are they counting both of them then?
They'd have to be. I think.
Right.
Because I know that was like.
Did he have the other one 3 times?
I think so, yeah,
Okay.
because this was like
Knew this was gonna happen.
aside from the tag titles, this was his only title since his return. So
maybe they're talking about both.
they'd have to be, I think.
Who has the longest reign? It's a good question.
Probably. I feel like Trips is a trick question.
It is not Trips. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I wouldn't have guessed
I
this.
feel like it's. Oh wait. I know it. I don't remember though. Is it Batista?
It is Batista.
I almost said Edge.
How many times did Batista hold? I guess either, both.
Like
Whatever.
3?
6.
Okay, so that might be counting both then.
That sounds like it. Who did he defeat for his first reign?
Trips.
Correct. How did he lose the title?
Didn't he vacate the first time?
Because
Triceps?
biceps. You don't know anything. You say you know wrestling.
I just saw it in a video. I swear it was triceps.
In this article, it said biceps.
Fine.
Both in the arm, just the other side. You don't know anything. God, you should really study up on these, okay? The title has never changed hands at which major pay-per-view PLE? That's a good one. So think of the big ones.
I'm going to go with the Rumble.
Correct.
Nice.
How many times has the title changed hands by DQ?
5.
Nope.
7.
Once.
Okay.
Who was involved and what led to the DQ? Do you remember?
Changed hands by DQ.
Yeah. I actually remember, not at the time, but once, as soon as I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I don't know.
Christian spit in Orton's face.
Oh.
And Orton hit a low blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know stuff. You don't know stuff.
I know now. That makes sense.
Who was the oldest champion?
Taker?
Yep. How old was he?
47.
44. Pretty
Yeah.
close. Starting in 2004, I feel like this is one you'll be able to figure out. How many times in a row did the title change hands at Mania? So starting in 04. It might take you a while to get there, but I feel like you'll...
Wasn't it only twice?
Nope.
Really? What? It changed hands and...
That's...
Oh, wait. I'm thinking other title. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay.
Go ahead.
4, 5.
This is fascinating podcasting.
4
Again.
times.
Sorry?
4.
6.
6?
2004 to 2009, they're saying.
Oh, yeah. No. I messed up again because for some reason I thought Edge retained, but I remember he faced Taker, so he'd have to lose. Then that was 08. So then 09, it also changed hands. Yeah, okay.
So was the first title to change hands in Hell in a Cell? When was the match and who was in it?
In Hell in a Cell?
Yep. First title to change hands in the Hayak.
I feel like Trips has to be
Nope.
in that. No, really, no.
I can give you the year if you want.
Sure.
2009.
Okay, so I would have been off base. Oh, Punk.
Punk.
Lost it to Taker.
Correct.
Okay.
Last one. Who is the final World Heavyweight Champion and shortest reigning World Heavyweight Champion as it was unified with his WWE Championship?
Cena?
No.
What? No, but Cena was the one who
That's not what it said.
lost in the unification
I knew
match.
this would happen.
Okay, then
Shortest reigning and final, it says. So maybe it's...
Del Rio?
No, Orton. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, because he unified the titles, but like I wouldn't count that because that's...
Well, Sportster disagrees.
Because literally, I remember even in the encyclopedia, they say he's the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion because that's unifying the belt. So he's not the last champion, he's the first.
Write them a strongly
of a new
worded
breed.
letter.
A stern letter.
Stern email, I guess, these days. But there you go.
Yes.
You knew a lot of stuff, as you always do. So let's flip back to talking about the week that was in wrestling. We'll cherry pick from the best and worst that we saw this week in Highspots and Restholds. All right, so you're going to start out because Monday was the first thing. So I went to WWE's own YouTube, like the top 10 things from Raw. So I might even know what you're talking about this week. Did a little extra research.
One from Raw.
What do you have from Raw?
It was just the Sami and Kevin Owens thing because it was like he was trying to get Owens to team with him to take down the Bloodline because it's starting to fall.
Yes.
Owens turned him down, told him to find Jay. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's like another layer to the whole thing.
They're sort of delaying because you know what's happening, right? But they're sort of...
But I like this, and I remember I saw guys talking about like it's more consistent with Owens' character.
Yes.
And like I saw like the whole the Survivor Series thing, right? Like when like Zayn chose to align with the Bloodline, and that's
Right.
when Owens was trying to get. That was kind of a breaking point for Owens. So I kind of like that as like he's not just gonna. You can't just like forget that just because of Zayn
Yeah.
tried to help him at the Rumble. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't negate the other thing.
That's right. And
So
and that because Owens is like always presented as pretty smart, right?
right,
And
and
so
I like that's consistent like that. Like and it does delay that payoff.
building
And I think
anticipation for everybody.
I at least the assumed payoff. We'll
Right.
say.
I would be surprised if it isn't.
Yeah, me too. But we'll see.
So Tuesday night brought me, you don't watch it, NXT, and I thought it was a really weak episode this week, especially in ring. So I have the first thing as a high spot relatively, and that's
Okay.
that's the opening match because it was Trick Williams, believe it or not, taking on Ilya Dragunov in what was the best match on this show, I would say. And Trick cut another really solid promo ahead of the match. The match itself was probably Trick's best, I think. Not a masterpiece by any means, but probably a lot of credit goes to Dragunov too. But totally fine opener that got 13 minutes. Like I thought Trick, like there was a power bomb and a torpedo Moscow, and Dragunov picks up the win. McDonough was down on commentary, and honestly, if Trick,
I saw in a house show him and Andre Chase had a blindfold match because he has the eye injury.
yeah, he now is close to being back because his eye looked completely normal, no more bandage this week. But if Trick keeps improving in the ring, with his size and his ability to speak, like he could be a big deal in WWE, honestly. Like I know when you left NXT, he was pretty awful, but he's not awful.
I still remember the first thing he did, and it was really bad.
Speaking wise, he's excellent. Like he naturally sounds like lots of people try to sound like, if that makes sense to you, right?
Okay.
Like what people are going for, he kind of has it, I think. So I'm kind of high on Trick right now. Resthold, the teen drama, as I call it, continues. So Fallon Henley feels bad about interrupting the Kiana James Brooks Jensen date and wants to apologize to James face to face, and Briggs is kind of there counseling her to do that as well. So she does it in a second segment because we got to get multiple of these.
Right.
I think only 2. I don't think we hit the magic 3, but I could be wrong. So James accepts the apology, but basically it boils down to, I think she's like, it's okay that you're jealous, right? Her idea is that Henley is attracted to Brooks Jensen, of course.
As long as they're not siblings, because that would just be a horrible another layer to this gimmick.
But remember, he was also really into Kaden Carter at one point.
Was that
when the
like,
Ravers, they
just
went
like
to
a one-off kind of thing? Or
I
like...
think so, 1 or 2 off, yeah.
Okay.
They went to concerts and stuff together.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. This continues just to be like poorly written, poorly acted, because it'd be hard to pull this stuff
NXT.
off. I will say I think Briggs is sounding natural in these segments, and nobody else really did. So Jensen wasn't there at all this week. It was just the women and Briggs.
Right.
Resthold, I hate to say it because I love this guy, but Tyler Bate had an in-ring promo and then a bit of aftermath that I thought was pretty bad.
Wasn't he involved with your boys?
Who's my boys?
Schism?
Yes. So that doesn't help.
I think
right?
that's funny though, because I mean, the first NXT UK tag title match was him and Seven and GYV.
Right.
So like, is he just gonna pretend
that
he doesn't know
I
them?
would assume so.
Like,
Reset. They've been reset.
That's so stupid though.
So right away, there's like, because there's so few people in this arena, if you can get like 10 to 20 people chanting something, it kind of sounds. So there's dueling "we want" Waller "no we don't" chants, and honestly, it seems to throw Bate off. Like he even acknowledges it in a subtle way at one point.
Which sometimes is like, I think sometimes people do a good job of that, but like,
yeah, this was totally random, right? So he panders really hard to the fans and talks about how we're going on a mystical journey and all this. And I don't think it was the goal of this segment, but I was almost getting Daniel Bryan. Why do I do that? Daniel Bryan eco champion vibes. You know what I mean? Where he was like being nice and not saying anything heelish, but his tone is like,
Which
so
is
much better.
Definitely not what you want from Tyler Bate.
I'm so much better than you, sort of thing, right? And I don't think that's what they're going for.
I don't think that's ever been Tyler Bate.
And then to top it off, you're right. He's interrupted by Schism, and they say their usual meaningless stuff. And then they basically offer Bate a spot in their group. Bate declines. He's about to be attacked. Chase U,
for sure.
Chase U come out and make the save because right after that, Chase U and the Dyad had a decent match where Thea Hale is like hallucinating or whatever because she's traumatized by whatever Schism has shown her. Because remember, they abducted her briefly.
Sure.
So Schism made a comment about it, and so did commentary. So here's my prediction: that we never get a payoff of what they showed her.
Do you even want a payoff?
I don't know. It might be good for a laugh if they tried, but I bet you there's no payoff to that. So Chase gets distracted by Hale at ringside because he wants to go and get between her and Ava, who comes over, I guess. Hudson ends up
Just Ava.
Ends up taking the double codebreaker, which I guess is the dyad finish now. And then Hudson has words with Chase. You can hear it, which is something I like that they're started doing, is they're just using the ringside mics or whatever to pick up conversations rather than, like, you know what I mean? If Duke Hudson goes over and grabs a mic and addresses him individually and privately almost. So it's basically Chase being like, she's a grown woman, you protect her too much, etc., sort of thing. And then I think he says, even if this is like, is this a university or a charity? No.
Did he also say bitch?
No, he did not. Okay. He saved it. You only get one an episode.
Okay.
They saved it. A high spot, Gulak and Dempsey basically confirm their alliance. They sort of ask Gulak about it, and it kind of along the lines of like, Walker's basically a rookie, and Gulak prefers somebody like Dempsey who's willing to hurt people, which, perfect, right? Gulak sounded fine here, and I just want them to be a team, so I'm glad it's like officially looks like it's happening.
Yeah, that's cool.
Resthold, JC Jane versus Indy Hartwell.
No way.
No, I know this is, believe me, I wouldn't lie to you.
You better not say anything bad about JC Jane.
Basic offense, lengthy JC Jane submission, pretty slow, uneventful 5-minute match, interrupted by Gigi Dolan. It looks like Jane's new finisher is going to be
the new Johnny Gargano of NXT, Gigi Dolan.
The partner is sitting against, or their opponent, sitting against the turnbuckles, and you run and give the boot, much like she did to Dolan's head into the door. So Dolan runs in to save Indy Hartwell from that. The match wasn't good, and I talked about this. My annoyance with this storyline is Gigi Dolan is an established heel. The only thing that nothing she's done has been babyface. The other heel she hangs out with turned more heely and kicked her in the head, and suddenly that makes her a babyface.
Oh yeah, that makes her likable.
There's no character development. I was saying, I'm pretty sure when we got the Jannetty kicked through the barbershop, they were baby faces.
No, they were. The Rockers were, right. Yeah, uber baby face.
And Michaels became a heel,
yeah.
So it made sense, and you felt bad for Jannetty. Why am I feeling bad for Dolan, who's been nothing but a monster?
Like, tag splits lend themselves, there's two things, because they lend themselves so much better to a babyface team, right. Because, then immediately one of them's just, public enemy number one, especially if it's a pretty popular team like DIY.
Right.
Prime example. But, I feel like even with a heel team, you can feel bad for the 1% if it's a heel team. I think a decent example is maybe Team Taz.
Yeah.
When Hobbs just clobbers, because Starks was losing a bit, then and Starks was kind of I guess another reason that it's Starks was kind of already on the precipice of the face turn,
precipice.
And then I remember Hobbs just clobbered him, and
yes,
that was really nice.
I loved it.
And it's not like Dolan was on the cusp of that,
leaning
right?
Towards it,
right?
No.
Not even a little bit, because Starks it's not like it was teased for weeks. It was maybe a week or so that got teased, but at least Starks was in that segment, right. You could see it coming, and that kind of built toward but I mean, obviously I don't watch it, but I can kind of see it, and just from what you're saying,
yeah.
It's not like they were teasing it at all.
Not
with
at
Dolan,
all.
Right?
It's just you got kicked. You got out healed by another heel, so now you're a babyface.
That's the reasoning for
and then
that.
the other problem is JC Jane, last week or whatever it was, is in the ring cutting a heel promo. Well, you've always been a heel, right? So this isn't any new ground you're covering. This is what you've been doing forever. So it's kind of a bizarre situation, and I don't like it.
I just hate the whole thing, acting it's it's still so weird because you have to act like Mandy never existed.
Right.
So
that's
it's
part of the
still
problem.
Some of the promos are so weird. So it's that's the thing too, is they're acting like they had this great one, they were a tag team, but you're forgetting such a crucial part of it. So it's so weird.
It's I don't have it.
I saw a bit of a promo. It's I forget the exact language, but it's just it's so weird the way they're talking.
They have
about
to
it.
Work around
right.
Rose all the time.
It's been weird the whole time.
High spot. I kind of liked it. It was a little bit silly just in the training itself, but basically Mako is training. I think it's her own dojo, and she's training a bunch of young people, and Roxanne shows up. And this was multiple segments as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And wants to train. And Mako allows her. And obviously, it's as Mako works them super hard, right? More and more of the trainees are dropping out until it's still only Perez left. And then
she's
Perez,
a valiant babyface?
Yeah. And then Perez is super excited that she survived. And of course, Mako goes, that was just the warm up. And then they train more and more and more. because it is a match between two baby faces, right? So I thought this was kind of an interesting way to deal with that. And it's this idea that Mako is the noble veteran who, even though she's going to try and win, she's still trying to help the next generation, I guess, to get better, to get on her
I thought
level,
it was
sort
gonna be
of
like
thing.
she's gonna purposely train her harder or give her less good.
No,
training.
it was totally like seemed to be a wholesome whatever, like I'm here to help you, and it
Mhm.
was super respectful sort of thing. So I kind of liked it on a show that I didn't like much. Um, Resthold was the non-title tag match. It was Gallus and Anafe and Blade.
I saw the finish. It looked really lame.
Really disappointing because I'm starting to get into Anafe and Blade as like a high energy babyface tag team, but this was 4 minutes. Gallus was, I think, the biggest move they hit was a Uranagi and their lame finisher, which is like a forearm to the back and a power slam.
I like the Insiguri one a little better.
Way
Like
better.
at least that was solid. I thought I saw it and it looked really lame.
So 4 minutes of Gallus almost doing nothing, and then you also had Anafe messed up. He went to do like he does a rebound lariat kind of thing where he spins in the ropes
Yeah.
and then out, and he messed that up. And then he and Blade went for I think it's their tandem finisher. I forget exactly what it is, but they got didn't get all of it from Vic Joseph, right? So I will say Anafe hit an elbow drop, and I know that sounds pretty normal, but he jumps so high. It's similar to like Montez Ford with his, you know how
Right.
his flash
From
is
the
just
heavens.
ridiculously
Yeah.
high. Anafe, same thing. And then the aftermath of this was the whole match. 2 people had come down with a giant sheet cake that said "Happy Anniversary," obviously sent by Pretty Deadly, and those guys took a beating, basically. High Spot. I can't believe I'm saying this. There was a surprisingly good promo by who? Care to guess?
Wagner?
No. Good
Okay.
guess. Another big dude. You're in the
Uh,
ballpark. It's a big man.
Quinn?
No, I haven't seen him in forever. A big man who's recently reappeared.
Jones?
No, good guess. Not Odyssey Jones. Even more recent. Return? Was he ever there?
Dijak?
No, he was main roster for sure. I don't remember if he was NXT or not. He's mad at his former partner.
Oh, really? Aziz?
Yes, Daba Kato. I almost was going to send it to you to watch it because he had a
Did he actually explain something, or is it like
he
what
did pre-recorded segment
Alright.
where he explained his attack on Cruz, and I thought they kept it simple and it made sense. That basically, and they showed highlights, right? He's like, for all of your big achievements on the main roster, I was there helping you and supporting you,
Except for when
basically,
Cruz
right?
won the U.S. title when he was still a baby.
Well, yeah, you gotta cherry pick, right?
Yeah.
You can't include everything.
Yeah.
And then basically you disappeared, you forgot all about me, you show up here without me, like you've sort of dodged me and avoided me for so long, and then you show up here, and then on top of that, when I show up, you just assume like, oh, everything's cool and I'm gonna go back to being your lackey, right? Well, I'm not, basically. I'm here to hurt you, is pretty much what it was. And his delivery, like, I was pretty much shocked. I'm sure he can't back it up in the ring, but in this spot, he sounded really, really good. I thought it was easy to believe what he was saying, and I liked because it made sense, right? Like, you just disappear without a word to me, and then you show up here and you think I'm just going to fall in line again, and I'm not. I'm here to take you out, not support you. So I
I
like
think you should go to face Omos.
No, thank you. A high spot, Nikita Lyons gets interrupted. She's talking about her injury and the fact that she didn't see who attacked her in the ever dangerous parking lot.
The most dangerous place on planet Earth.
So she's interrupted by Tiffany Stratton, and she's tired of Nikita Lyons whining, basically. And Lyons obviously is suspicious that maybe it was Stratton that attacked her then. Stratton, I can't remember what she said, but the delivery made me chuckle. It was something like, my suggestion is that you just go away and don't come back. I don't know how she said it, but it was kind of funny. Stratton's good, man. She pulls off, like, she's doing an over-the-top character, but I think she's doing it, and I'll say it again, she's a future star for sure. High spot, really brief interaction. Carmelo Hayes talks to Tyler Bate kind of backstage. Melo basically says that whatever Bate's path that he's on right now better not get anywhere near the NXT championship because that's Melo's kind of thing. So I liked it. He always sounds great. And Bate just keeps on smiling.
I'm going to be playing as him on the game.
Restholds, you're never going to believe it. The main event, do you know what it was?
Wagner.
No.
Zion Quinn.
It was a title match.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jinder.
Jinder Breaker. Okay at best. I thought, honestly, Jinder looked better than Braun somehow. The chemistry seemed off, and I thought it was a really basic, like, 10-minute match with the expected outcome. It was Braun retaining, countering the Colossus with the spear. Like, just kind of okay. whatever, it's there. Braun is not. He's had some matches I liked, but I'm kind of like, seen one, seen them all kind of deal, which you might be able to say about a lot of people, but I notice it about him, right? Then we move into Impact. Highspot, the opening match, it was a tag team match where Mike Bailey and Gresham teamed up to take on Motor City Machine Guns. Pretty much what you'd expect, right? Fast, crisp, plenty of double team. It was kind of like a story of the Machine Guns have all this double team stuff worked out.
You didn't watch the pay-per-view thing, right?
I did not yet.
Okay.
I might watch it, though. And they're more of a team, right? So they should have the advantage. And then lots of technical wrestling and striking from Bailey and Gresham. So Lethal had a nice stalling suplex on Sabin. Bailey hit a suplex while having the other person in a death lock with his legs, so kind of adding pressure to that. We had Sabin with a nice power bomb of Bailey on top of Gresham. So Gresham and Bailey looked great individually, but the more experienced team ended up winning with a nice cutter to Lethal, followed by to Gresham, followed by their
same former team.
Their double team finisher that I didn't catch the name of. Excellent opening match that got a lot of time, and the crowd was into it. Highspot, I like Purrazzo, had a quick little promo. She's mad at Giselle Shaw for taking credit for running Purrazzo's best friend out of the company, and just basically she's annoyed that Giselle Shaw is proud of being like, yep, every team I'm in implodes, kind of. She's like the Kyrie Irving, not that you'll get that reference, of women's tag teams. She just sort of poisons them from within. It wasn't a groundbreaking promo, but Purrazzo is always believable, and it kind of nudges that feud along. Resthold, Dreamer squashes Hotch in just over a minute, because remember, I don't know if you remember, why would you? He and Bully Ray are doing like a beat the clock challenge for, forget what the stakes are even, to be honest. That's how much I care.
Thing?
Oh, right. To speak first on a podcast, right? I think is what.
Yeah, I think that's part of the.
Not this podcast. I wouldn't even want them on here. We could have had Darren Young, right? But we turned it down.
Fred Rosser.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want him anymore. He lost his title to Kenta.
I like him, but I wasn't interested in interviewing any wrestlers, I tell you what. So I just feel bad for Hotch. I just think like you probably weren't planning on being a job guy in Impact, because Impact could use talent and fresh talent, but no.
Or in a faction with Bully Ray, kind of.
Yeah. Highspot, there was a women's match I actually liked. It was ahead of the Hex Death Dolls match at No Surrender. You got Allison Kay and Taya. Good physical match that, again, got a bunch of time right in the middle of this show. A Marty Bell distraction leads to an AK-47 to Taya, and Kay picks up the win. The finish was cheap. Didn't really add anything, but it was a pretty good match overall. The best I've seen Taya look in a long time, which is nice to say, because we used to be a fan of hers, and it's been
ever since the NXT run. That really soured me on
her. Other than on the Indies, where she was, I guess, killing it, right? But on anything we watched, she was not good. So I thought it was good. Highspot specifically, I like Yuya. I think Yuya Uemura is pretty cool, and he partnered with Kazarian to take on the design. A decent tag match.
Yeah, the pay-per-view match is Kaz versus Khan.
Yes, great, eh?
Wow.
Skipped that one probably.
Wow.
Uemura is really entertaining. The crowd's really behind him. He was in for his team for a lot of this, delivering and sort of having to take offense. I thought he did both really well. He had an entertaining flurry. Actually, it was both teams near the end there. And then Diener abandoned Sammy as a loyalty test, apparently, in a little segment later we learned.
Right.
And Sammy eventually tapped to Kaz's chicken wing. Highspot, Masha Slamovich. She'll always be a high spot.
Wait, I thought he was just Callahan now.
Oh, right. Sorry. Masha, there was a back and forth recorded segment with Masha and Mickie James ahead of their title match. And Masha continues to just speak Russian and just say badass stuff with no emotion. Really. I just think she's intimidating and awesome, and one of my favorite women's wrestlers right now, maybe wrestlers in general. I think she's great. Really hope she wins. Don't feel like she's going to, but we'll see. Resthold, Bhupinder Gujar then has to job to Bully Ray in less time than Dreamer, so it was 20 seconds. Basically a distraction and an immediate ref distracted, chain shot by Bully Ray, and it's an instant win.
Nice.
Still a waste of time. I don't know if there's somebody other than Gujar that could have done this, because I kind of like Gujar too. Highspot, the main event, did you hear what that was? A Monsters Ball?
Oh, yeah.
For X Division Championship.
Yeah.
I think the first time they said maybe that had been defended in. Anyways, could be wrong. Crazy Steve, who again is legally blind. So, like, I don't understand. Like, obviously not 100% completely blind, but if you're blind enough to be legally blind, how are you doing the stuff you're doing?
I would love to, like...
I would interview him.
I'd like to. Yeah, I would. Actually, that's a good point. I
I'm
would.
very curious.
I would like to see, even for like one match, how I'd like to be able to see that.
what he sees and be like, how are you doing this stuff?
I would. Ever since I found that out, it just blows my mind.
So I like this a lot better than a lot of, or some Monsters Ball matches lately, where it's just like a pretty standard weapons, tables, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's pretty much just that. Like,
which this had
except
too,
they have
but
the starve him in a room thing.
Yeah,
which
yes.
doesn't actually like. That's really not part of the match. If I'm being honest.
So lots of good spots. Trey got backdropped onto 4 chairs set up. He got slammed onto tacks. Steve got stomped onto tacks. Then they hit double clothesline and fell on the tacks. Trey Miguel gets a spike at one point, and then so it's kind of like, oh yeah, you get that. So Crazy Steve got out the old Janice. You know Janice?
Yeah.
The board that
I have.
Abyss had.
Yeah, I have a figure accessory for that.
Oh right. Trey ends up getting DVD'd through a table. Sorry, Death Valley Driver through a table in the corner. Steve
maybe
hits,
DVDs could have been in the Dot Combat match for the Digital Media Championship.
Yeah. Steve comes off the second ropes and hits a sick-looking destroyer onto a chair, and some of the tacks are still there too. Trey Miguel hits a roll of the dice from the apron through a board covered in barbed wire, and that's sort of the finish as he puts Crazy Steve back in the ring and retains his title in a really physical bloodbath. Again, of course, Crazy Steve is not winning this championship, but I didn't care. This match was really a lot of fun. Really different from everything else on the show. They worked their butts off and were just some of the, like, taking a backdrop onto 4 chairs set up, right? Like, you got to have a special kind of love of wrestling to do stuff. And tacks, as we always say,
Tax.
right? So,
if I was a wrestler, that would be my.
They're taxing both of their backs. Steve's pulling them out of his hand at several points.
I wouldn't do that. I couldn't.
So really good main event match. I was pretty happy with that. So that leaves us with SmackDown, I believe.
Smackville?
I didn't see anything from SmackDown. No, I usually don't catch anything.
Remember the random televised house show they did right before my birthday in 2019?
Right.
Smackville.
Yeah, yes.
So there's a Sammy segment again with Jimmy Uso this time. Jay was in the crowd watching, like he came out partway through to observe. Yeah. Sammy got distracted when he was talking to Jimmy, so then Jimmy attacked him because Jay was there, obviously. And then they kind of Jimmy and Sammy brawled. He hit a haluva kick at the end, and then Sikoa came out, so Sammy kind of ran off. And like I don't know, it was pretty good. I only saw a bit of it because I was limited to what WWE would put out.
Right.
But it was like I think it was like kind of like Jimmy was saying, like family doesn't betray you or something, because like obviously he's pissed at Sammy, and then Sammy was kind of like saying family doesn't make you test your loyalty and prove your worth, kind of like trying to break Jimmy too, like kind of saying like not break him, but like saying like he also doesn't have to go down with the ship.
Right.
The bloodlight's crumbling, but like I guess like if both
finish your story.
If both if both the Usos leave, then wouldn't it just be Roman falling? But I guess that's the point.
Yep.
But I personally think it's more interesting if Jimmy stays with Roman, and then Jay
drag things out even longer, right?
And also then Jay can get that solo run that never really finished, and also that puts some more differentiation on the Usos, and I think it's more interesting if Jay is the one to split and not. It doesn't have to be both of them.
And you'd think they just want to squeeze every drop out of this too, right?
Yeah.
While it's still everyone's still enjoying it. The whole thing is
they are the twins, so it's like I don't know if you want to put them both together or if you want to like give this. And I think it adds more depth if you have a different like. Maybe Jimmy doesn't split, and that's just kind of that would be kind of an interesting thing, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Anything else?
Then also they've begun teasing McIntyre and Gunther.
Yes.
Gunta. Maybe the 3 with Sheamus if that kind of pans out. But McIntyre came to stare down Gunther during there was like a 6-man tag with Imperium. I think it was Madcap Moss, Strowman and Ricochet. So I think they're starting to set that up, and that'll be interesting. I don't know if Sheamus is going to get involved or not, because that was the rumor.
That will be a physical battle, because neither man
that'll be awesome.
Getting beaten, right? It'll be similar to like Sheamus.
It's still a drop down for McIntyre from the top of the card, but honestly, I think that's something kind of worthwhile.
I think he fits in nicely there, so that's fine.
No, I like that.
Walter's sort of giving that Gunther, some prestige to that belt again, right?
I like
for sure.
I kind of want him to break the honky tonk.
I'd be fine. That's still the reign, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a guy that was all an era where like
demolitions run's been broken.
Right.
Like obviously San Martino, I don't think that can be touched, but even that's getting close. Yeah. Like with Roman, so maybe maybe Gunther does do it. I think he should.
Yeah, he's
Because I don't think he can go
I'm
top
just
of the
glad
card right now,
he-
so I think that's the best thing he can
glad
do.
he panned out, man.
He actually has, yeah. Because I hated Gunther
Not
at
since
first.
Bianca
Like, not,
Belair probably.
Oh
has
yeah,
there been.
Belair and him are probably the biggest success stories. Like, cause even Gargano,
Other
who
than
was,
like obviously like Lynch and Charlotte and stuff.
Rollins even counts,
Yeah,
and Rowan technically, but honestly, I count Rollins more because he actually won the title in NXT.
and
Rowan-
Liaki. Don't
Liaki didn't do a whole lot.
forget. No, he did not.
So
All right. Any other high spots? That's
No.
usually all you get is 2 from Raw.
I
That's
can't
just
get
pretty
a
much
lot.
what I hear. Or
Yeah.
from SmackDown, sorry.
yeah,
Okay. Did you want to do figuring, or is there anything?
not really much.
Not this week. We'll bring it back next week. All right. So we did all right. We were up over 2 hours, but we got it done. So again, thanks for taking any time out of your week to listen to us talk about this. We'll be back next week. I might take a quick look at, what is it, No Surrender?
I think so.
I might just throw that into Highspots and Restholds if there's anything really good if I end up watching it. But we'll definitely be back here for episode 137 next Saturday. So come on back, bring some extra people if you can. And until then, take care.